Greg Reynolds warmed up. He's ready to go. And Hanley Ramirez takes the first pitch downtown. Welcome back and welcome to Coors Field. Hanley Ramirez with his 21st home run of the year. There was not much doubt on that one.
Did the alarm clock go off yet or something? Did I miss something? Where was the first pitch? Did he warm up? No. What happened?
Now the first pitch.
Hey, that's not supposed to happen like that.
Now the first pitch has a dent in it.
Holy cow! That's not the way things are supposed to go during a ball game. Got the sink. You could see him start to roll over on it, and it just hung and stayed flat. And Hanley Ramirez backlegged this thing to death. One of the deepest parts of the ballpark, left center field, about 25 rows up. You know, quickly 1-0. Erase it out of your memory right now, very quickly, and go right after these next hitters. And you know, it could be one of those nights. It's a hot night here at this ballpark tonight. So the ball's going to fly a little bit more than it normally does.
Well, you got to give Hanley Ramirez credit, because I don't care if it was warm, cold, or somewhere in between. That ball was going out of every ballpark that has been built.
And Reynolds has been able to handle right-handers, typically 236. Left-handers have hit a little bit over 300 against Greg Reynolds. His home numbers, 2-2 overall, 0-4 out on the road, an earned run average near 7, but here at Coors Field, a 4.72 earned run average.
And then he falls behind 3-0. Gets that in there to Jeremy Hermida.
It does coincide with this ball club winning 3 games in a row. It has been due to the great starting pitching that they've had. In the last 3 starts, 2-0, 127 earned run average, just a couple of walks and 21 1/3 innings of work.
And ball 4. So not the kind of start that Greg Reynolds was looking for. A home run and a 5-pitch walk. Here's the Southwest batting order tonight for Freddie Gonzalez. Jorge Cantu is at third base, hitting the 3-hole, hit a home run last night to give them a 4-3 lead late in the ball game. Josh Willingham, Mike Jacobs, Cody Ross, Matt Trainer, Alfredo Amezaga, and the pitcher Scott Olson. Jorge Cantu at the plate, the former Tampa Bay Devil Ray, and he gets plugged in the back.
And that's not what Reynolds intentionally trying to do. Cantu giving him a look out on the mound. Not anywhere close. I mean, you just walk the guy, give up a home run. It's already 1-0. The guy's on base already. The last thing you want to do is come inside with a heater. Clint Hurdle making his notes about this ball game so far for Greg Reynolds. Anytime you have a sinker baller on the mound, the ball is going to travel, and that one traveled. It chased inside about 2.5 feet. Cantu took it right off of the arm. Boy, you see that right on the back of it. Nailed him pretty good.
Cantu still down. Josh Willingham will be coming up. Freddie Gonzalez is in your picture on the left.
As we look now, take a look at Greg Reynolds' fidelity scouting report in this ball game, making his 11th start, 2-6 overall. The earned run average about where it is. The walk strikeouts. Obviously, he's not going to strike out a lot of guys. He has to have command of the sinker. He did not have it early in this ball game and allowed the defense to work. Get the ball on the ground, get some double plays.
That's exactly what he needs right now. 2 on, nobody out. It's already 1-0. Here's the gloves brought to you by Toyota, Holiday, Spilborgh's Hop, Atkins, Tulowitzki, Barmas, and Baker. Chris Iannetta has had a couple of days off. He pinch hit last night. Yorvi Torrealba caught the last 2 ball games. Josh Willingham at the plate, 8 home runs. He's driven in 20. And this ball is lifted to left center field. He got under it just a smidgen. He did get it on the barrel, and Spilborghs will set up nicely to throw toward third, and that'll keep Hermida from moving up.
Let's look at the Burt Automotive keys to this ball game. It's much like what we've been watching, and I think it's the momentum from the last 3 ball games carried over offensively and with the starting pitcher. And again, Reynolds is already down 1-0 and 1 out, and a couple of runners at first and second. Obviously not intentionally wanting to give up a home run, nor walk or hit a batter. Would like to get through this first inning. So momentum very big. The starting pitching has to be.
Tell you one thing that has to be a little troubling for Greg Reynolds is that he's a sinker ball pitcher, but he's given up 11 home runs in 56 1/3 innings.
Well, that's because here what happens, you want the sinker to move in this direction. You want it down. And anytime it stays up, just like what you saw there, and you can even bring that down 4 or 5 inches more into the hitting zone. When you work high with a sinker, it flattens out. So it's on the same plane as the swing of the bat. and it makes it pretty easy to hit, versus having a ball that's going to be diving down and away from them. And if it's diving down, what's going to happen? They're going to catch the top half of the baseball and induce the ground ball.
And Jacobs didn't offer at it, but it was in for a strike.
That's just what Drew was talking about. Home runs allowed by Rockies pitchers, 11 with Reynolds.
Cueto's been up the whole year.
Well, you know what? He's in a ballpark that's going to give him up the way Coors Field used to give him up in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Part of the learning process. 1-1 for Greg Reynolds against Mike Jacobs. That is pulled foul. Bright, sunshiny day. The temperature was supposed to reach the high 90s today. And it was scorching on the field during batting practice. If the Rockies score 7+ tonight, go to your participating Colorado Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6 in the afternoon and feed your fever with 4 tacos for $1. Now that's a steal. Only 1 order per customer. 1-2 on Jacobs.
Pretty good idea. 80 miles an hour. That spike curveball. And one pitch he's going to have to get command of is that pitch, the spike curveball, because it's hard to command that in the strike zone. You get a lot of balls in the dirt that guys swing at because of the late break on it. It's a nasty breaking ball. It's just difficult to keep in the zone. And eventually the changeup's going to have to come into play for Greg Reynolds.
This ball down the right field line past a diving Jeff Baker. Hermito will score. Cantu's going to get a stop sign. And in with a double is Mike Jacobs. 2-0 Florida.
His average is not up very high, but the RBIs are. 47, make it 48 now for Jacobs. His average just 233 on the season. And a guy that can drive in runs when it happens, and he does it here. I mean, a guy in scoring position. You look on the Hyundai cam on a sinker, trying to work it to that outside part of the plate, and as it started to drop, nice job of hitting by Jacobs to pull it down the first base line out of the reach of Baker at first base. The ball gets under the glove and into the outfield.
2 RBIs out there for Cody Ross. And that's up and in. Ross last night 3 for 5, including an RBI. He's got a 7-game hitting streak going. 393 average, hit 12 of his last 13. A lot of pop for a guy in a smaller package. 5'9", about 205. 2-0. Ross has some ties to Denver. His brother's a doctor in the area.
Ross reminds me a little bit of Ron Say.
Yeah,
used to call the Penguin. He has a lot better speed than Say ever had.
Yeah, you could not run Ron Say out center field.
No, but he's a kid that has the same type of build. He's very short, very quick to the plate, holds the bat very similar to what Say held it.
Popped up right side. Barm is waiting. And that is the second out. It'll bring up the catcher, Matt Trainer.
Now, if there's one position, Trainer, a very good backup catcher. Hoover, a guy that doesn't have a lot of time in the big leagues. If there's a position that could boost this ball club for Florida, it would be an everyday catcher. Trouble is, they don't grow on trees. They're hard to find. So what happens, you end up getting another backup or getting a guy a little more experience. Somebody that maybe has been beat out of that position. I mean, there's a lot of ways you try to attack it as a ball club, but once again, they're hard to find.
And Trainer pulls it foul. Matt had a relaxing day. He and a few teammates were up in Boulder watching the Women's Pro Beach Volleyball event in Boulder, and he was a very interested observer because his wife, the former Misty May, one of the top beach volleyball players in the world. She's headed to her 2nd Olympic Games. She won a gold medal in 2004 in Athens. Swung on and missed. It's 0-2. Matt, unfortunately, is going to have to stay up late at night or figure out a way to catch up on his wife and how she's doing in Beijing, since the Olympics coincide with the baseball season. 0-2 on Trainer. 2 in scoring position. That's outside. Two and two. Purpose pitches or commands off?
Commands off. You're not trying to hit anybody again. I mean, if you're trying to work it in on a 2-2 count, you want to come in right below the left elbow, the lead elbow, whether it's right or left-handed. Come in underneath that lead elbow to get him to try to swing at it. I think right now that Reynolds just fighting to find the strike zone consistently.
On the ground, foul. .21 pitch inning thus far. Inside, 3-2.
Well, looking over on the sky cam, how far inside is this enough that you're not going to get Trainer to swing at it? You're going to have to figure out a way to bury it on the strike zone. It's difficult to do sometimes when you can't find the proper release point. You get a little quick with your lower half. Don't allow everything to work together. Pitching coaches will say sometimes you're pitching like your pants are on fire. Slow everything down. We're getting such a big rush with your lower half.
In the air to left field and deep. Holiday going back, still going back. He leaps and he can't get it. A 3-run home run for Matt Trainer. And now it's 5-0 Florida. Just the second home run all year for Trainer.
Well, that's what you love to see out of your backup catcher, to come in the very first inning. You come out and make a statement to pick up the rest of your ball club, and he did just that. After a hit batsman, a walk, and then the double by Jacobs, he backs everything up with a home run to left field. That is his second home run of the season, as Drew mentioned. He now has 17 RBIs on the season.
That's a strike on a Meziga.
Let's follow this with a Hyundai cam. How close was Holiday to getting this? Just out of the reach of Matt's glove and into the glove of a fan right on that first row.
And a Meziga lines a single to center field. 4 hits in the inning, 2 home runs, a double, and now that single by a Meziga. And Bob Apodaca.
Well, what hurts you, Drew?
What
hurts you? It's the very first inning of the ball game, and last night the Rockies had to use so much of their bullpen. I mean, the only guy that did not get in the game was Bowers and Vizcaino and Grilli, but they pitched numerous days in a row. So, you're going to have to eat up some innings. You're going to have to go out and give us at least 4 or 5 and hope the offense can get back in this ball game. And if you can't, then your bullpen is really going to get taxed by a game like this. And I think that's what Bob's out here talking to him. Just get the ball down in the strike zone. Let's slow everything down. You know what? You're going to be out here. Let's get busy at it. And, I had one pitching coach walk out one time, and he said, look, nobody's feeling sorry for you, so you might as well get your head up and start pitching. And I think that's where you try to light that fire under a pitcher to get them to be a lot more aggressive.
Wells Fargo customers, visit wellsfargo.com/Rockies for 2-for-1 Wells Fargo club level seats. Scott Olson will step up, the pitcher for the Marlins. Probably grinning underneath. Anytime you get the hit in the first inning as a pitcher, you got to be pretty happy. Reynolds has pitched much better here at Coors Field than he has out on the road. He gets Olson to ground to Baker. The inning's over, but there was all kinds of damage. 2 home runs, providing 5 runs in the inning. 5-0. The Rockies have spotted the Marlins. Big happy 4th of July to everybody tuning in to tonight's ball game, wherever you may be. Hopefully you've enjoyed the barbecue or you got something cooking right now. Rockies are going to have to cook offensively. They have spotted Florida a 5-run lead. Here's Clint Hurdle's lineup tonight. Ryan Spilborghs, who had the walk-off hit in the 11th, is again up top. Willie Taveras getting better, but he's still nursing a left quad strain. Clint Barmas, Matt Holliday, Garrett Atkins, Jeff Baker, 4 ribbies last night. His career best is 6. Then Chris Iannetta, Brad Hobbs, 7, Troy Tulowitzki, 8, and the pitcher Greg Reynolds.
Now then, what Olson has to do is he's got to go out and try to find the strike zone and do it very quickly. The club just gave you a 4-run lead. He gives up the long balls to the right-handers. 12 home runs out of his 14. They've hit 248 against him. Left-handers have had a lot of trouble. 187 against him. That's a good way to get it started right here.
Yeah, Gapper, right center field. Spilborghs is going to get at least a double. No hold there, so that is a good way to counter. A lead double for Spilborghs, and that'll bring up Clint Barmas.
Let's take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on Mr. Olson, who's starting this ball game for the Florida Marlins. His 18th start of the year, the record 4-4. He has not had a decision in his, 0-3 in his last 10 starts. He's a 3-mix guy. He really likes to compete. I mean, he's going to grind on you, but it's a fastball slider. He'll get some depth and angle to that slider. Starting to use the changeup more effectively in ball games. Now, the one thing that has left him at times during the season has been the defense. In 08, he's had 9 unearned runs when he starts ball games. 07, there was 20 unearned runs. Out on the road, 446 earned run average. At the house in Florida, 296.
This ball lined to left, and it is a fair ball. One hop in the wall. Spilborghs trots home. Barmas to second, back-to-back doubles. And the Rockies are on the board. It's 5-1. Those first 2 guys basically saying to Greg Reynolds, don't worry, we've got your back.
Well, you hope so. And this game's going to be, it's a hot night. The ball's going to fly. 4 pitches. 2 of them have been into the gap and down to the line. This has been pretty good for the Rockies, trying to come inside on Clint Barmas. You can't throw the ball by Clint Barmas on the inner half of the plate. For Clint Barmas, it is his 15th double of the season, and he picks up an RBI, his 21st.
Matt Holliday steps in. 10 home runs and 40 driven in. He waited on that nicely. He hit it a long way foul, but he waited.
Early in his career, Olson was an 89 to 93, 94 mile-an-hour guy, and I just think the innings and wear and tear of all the starts are starting to wear on his arm. Velocity's dropped. Pitching knowledge has jumped. 27 and 30 overall career record in 85 starts. 87 mile-an-hour fastball again. 0-2 against the Rockies in 07. Earned run average, a forgettable 15.43.
Strike 3. He throws Matt with a fastball, and Holliday walks off.
I think Holliday probably looking for a changeup. That's one thing we heard about him in a scouting report. When ahead in the count, he's gone to the changeup, the hard slider, and he just backed 2 fastballs up with a good fastball on the inner half of the plate. Just squared the body up with Trainer and got the strikeout.
Well, hopefully 2 things will happen here. Garrett Atkins will stay hot against lefties. He's hitting .470, which is the top mark in the game. It's
Little League number.
Yeah, that's a Little League number. Last 7 games against Florida, .481. Pretty good combo he's got working right now.
Yeah, not bad at all. And you get a lefty here that, you know, you'd hope he gets something up. He had one last night. Andrew Miller, he was impressive.
Two 2-0 on Garrett. One out. There's a run in. Clint Barmes doubled in Ryan Spilborghs, who began the inning with a double.
And I think a lot of opposing pitchers that come into this park, you see their ball club score 5 as the Marlins did in the first. That sometimes you try to overthrow the baseball, try to be too perfect because you don't want this park or the batters to get you. And so you don't pitch tentatively, but you try to overthrow it. Therefore, you make the mistakes and you get hurt by it.
That's also strike 2 and 2. Olson's 1 and 2 in his career against the Rockies. George was describing some of his work in the past, an ERA close to 10.
Well, last year he was 15.43 against the Rockies in 07. He had a pretty good start against them when he won that one ball game. He wanted that one as he got from Holiday. He wanted to get it on Atkins. They're trying to find out where Chad Fairchild's going to call the strike zone. That ball in off of the plate. Good call. And because Atkins has an open stance and then closes as the pitch arrives, sometimes it looks or appears to be inside, and sometimes it's not. That was not able to handle this fastball. Excuse me, changeup at 83 miles an hour.
Cody Ross handles the fly ball. That'll bring up Jeff Baker. A check of the gloves presented by Toyota. The Marlins have Willingham in left, Cody Ross in center. Jeremy Hermida is in right. Meziga and Ramirez up the middle. Cantu and Jacobs on the corners. And Matt Trainer does the bulk of the catching right now for Florida. Baker had a ball game last night. 2-run home run in his first at bat. Ended up driving in 4. Ball 1. And Bake had a big RBI in the 8th with the Rockies trailing 4-3. Deep drive to right center. Scoring fly ball that brought home Barmes. He's trying to bring Barmes home right now. That's on the corner, 1-1. Here's his bomb last night in the second.
Well, a fastball that was away from him, but yet he opened that front side, got to it. A lot of velocity on the pitch at 94, and he took care of the rest of it with the swing.
Two and 1. Since June 4th, 1 month of work. Baker a .316 average, 6 home runs, all 6 of his home runs, 18 driven in. And again, we say a month of work, but Baker's playing probably 2 out of every 3 days, not every single day. So that's quite a month. And of course, a week ago, he was the National League Player of the Week.
Clint realizes he's got to try to get his bat in the lineup, so it's either going to be at first most of the time now or at second base. Maybe one of the corner outfield spots.
Center field, got under it a smidgen. Ross will make the play. Rockies get a run back. The doubles by Spilborghs and Barmes, 5-1 as we move to the second. Marlins got 5 in the first when they hit around. Hanley Ramirez began things with a long home run to center, and he's going to begin things here in the second as we check in left field with Mark Stout. Mark?
Hi, Drew. Happy 4th of July, everybody. The current edition of Rockies magazine has Aaron Cook on the cover, and it says All-American Cook-Off. And of course, Aaron Cook has been the best pitcher for this staff. You see the cover, you see him at the grill. Well, I have some erroneous reporting to correct for Aaron Cook out of the June 30th Sports Illustrated issue as this goes foul. And it's the issue that has the Celtics on the front after they won the NBA championship. In the Pop Culture Grid, they asked Aaron Cook what people would be surprised to know about him. He said they'd be surprised to know that I eat a cheeseburger an hour before I pitch. So I said, what was on your cheeseburger on Tuesday when you threw a complete game shutout? He said, no, I didn't say that I eat a cheeseburger before every game. It's just that I like cheeseburgers, and if I want to eat a cheeseburger, I'll do that. He said before Tuesday's game, he actually had a barbecue chicken sandwich, as this is grounded past Atkins, and another hit for Hanley Ramirez. That said, everyone's grilling today. You'll be happy to know that Aaron Cook said he is a big fan of cheeseburgers. Any fast food cheeseburger will do. His favorite is Fuddruckers, but he doesn't necessarily eat a double cheeseburger before every time he gets a start, and he didn't on Tuesday. So I'm clearing that erroneous reporting up, guys.
Well, you know what? I feel a whole lot better now.
Do you?
Yeah, I was worried he was having too many cheeseburgers, not enough chicken sandwiches.
You know,
I was worried he wasn't sharing them with me.
He said he eats cheeseburgers probably 5 days a week, 5 of the 7.
There's nothing wrong with a
There's
cheeseburger.
not.
Oh, grease running down the side of the face doesn't hurt anybody.
No, it doesn't, as long as you have a napkin handy. Jeremy Hermida at the plate. Hanley Ramirez, 21 stolen bases to go with his 21 home runs. Kind of got a walking lead. You don't want to have a guy at first with a walking lead.
Got a base hit given to Hanley Ramirez. Ball that I thought Atkins might have been able to have a play on. Yes, I do put mayonnaise on my cheeseburger with red onions.
Boy, that sounds delicious.
You know, it was funny, folks. All these people in the booth all give me funny looks because I eat mayonnaise. It's like it's the worst thing in America, mayonnaise. And it's not.
No,
It's good.
you're right. I like mayonnaise with my tuna.
You know, I mean, it's okay. Mayonnaise is all right for you. If you took a vote of 48,000 people in the ballpark, I'm saying 45,000 eat mayonnaise.
Yeah, you're probably right. Now, how many eat mayonnaise on their hot dog? But it's okay.
There's a bigger following now than there was.
Yeah,
trust me. There's people trying it. I get the emails and the letters.
We've done this subject before. This is a line drive to left. Holiday will have it. That'll be the first out. Hermida retired. Ramirez back to first. We're not going to spoil everybody's barbecue on the 4th of July. Talking about
that's your opinion.
Your culinary habits.
Hey, Mayor, that's your opinion, Mayor. What is that?
Jorge Cantu's at the plate. And the Rockies pitch out. Ramirez not going.
Stole a base last night. Now that is a hot dog that's going to give you a whole lot of heartburn.
He's not worried about it, though.
Well, not right now while he's eating it, but he might be in about an hour.
Down low, 2-0 on Cantu. .36 pitches in. Reynolds 20 strikes, 16 balls. This is pulled foul. Two balls and a strike. Let's see if Ramirez is moving here. He's been at first base for a while, checking out Greg Reynolds.
A lot of it too, though. You got the sun right in your face. You've seen his move to the plate. You've got that part timed down again. It's just whether he wants to take an attempt as he got a little work here. He had the one stolen base. Mentioned that last night.
Crowd of more than 48,000 last night. We expect the same tonight. Should be another sellout. There goes Ramirez, and this ball is lined to left for a base hit. And since it's right in the direction of Matt Holliday, Ramirez, even though he was running, has to stop at second. First and second, 6 hits allowed by Reynolds. And 2 on for Josh Willingham.
Well, the runner on first base, a lot of times what goes on through this thing, Clint Hurdle's going to have a little visit with the youngster. This is one of those meetings that you wish you had a mic, but you don't have one. Anytime a ball's hit 10 feet left or right of your center fielder or your left fielder, that's when you try to advance on it and go an extra stage. That's the big part about it.
And you know what? We know Clint well enough. You just tell body language wise. There's a pat on the back and a kick in the you-know-what. Now is the latter.
And then maybe it needs to be. I mean, that's something Clint's sitting down in the dugout watching, and it's, you know what, you're in the big leagues. And I want you to get aggressive in the strike zone. I want you to get somebody out, and I want you to do something. Cedric Bowers is starting to throw down in the Rockies bullpen. two things happen here. You either crawl in the hole or you throw dirt in the hole and you start pitching.
On the ground to third. That's a fair ball down the left field line. Ramirez will score. Can't do. Stop. He keeps going. The ball evidently went into the stands or got caught up underneath, or a fan grabbed it. I was looking at the runners, George. You see, would a fan grab it?
Yeah, fan grabbed it. Clint Hurdle's upset that he didn't think that was a fair ball. He's going to come down and argue a little bit with Rob Drake, too. And Rob Drake made that call in a hurry. Clint frustrated right now. The club's won 3 in a row. Clint not happy with that. He had a direct line look at it, just like Rob Drake did. Nonetheless, it does put 2 more on the board.
2-run double for Willingham.
And it does hug. I mean, it's difficult right there. You see the ball go right over. I mean, right over that pad.
7-1 Florida.
Yeah, check the runners out. I mean, you're going to see where they end up going. And here's Rob Drake. He's going to call it now. Where is it down there? There, it touched with the fan. He held it up immediately. The runner was already rounding third base. They ended up giving him the home plate.
Ball 1 on Mike Jacobs. Willingham's 21st and 22nd RBIs of the year. He missed 50 games, Willingham did, earlier with a lower back strain.
You know what, guys come to the ballpark, you get dressed right. I got me a partner tonight. Look right here, Zachy, look in the camera. See, now this is Zach Goodman. This is Drew's middle son. And he knows how to drive, to dress on July 4th. Red, white, and blue, red, white, and blue. And his tie's straight, his dad's is crooked. Imagine that, huh, right? Huh, Zach, did I embarrass you? Kinda? Not really, not really, I didn't think so.
You want to do the play-by-play?
You want to do the play-by-play, or you want to do the other? You want to do this?
Do it at home all the time.
You do. It's 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Who they got at the plate? Jacobs is at the plate.
It's your older brother's name. Mike,
come on.
Go
you
ahead.
can do what you want to. Well, not really. I mean, you can to a point. We're just getting around. I had to show off. I mean, Jacob shows up and he looks like he just walked off the playground. Zach shows up and he's got the tie on, styling, looking good. I love it. I love it.
You look great, buddy. Now that's going to be all for Greg Reynolds, who did not have a great outing. 7 runs. He was able to get only 4 outs. And he departs with 2 runners on in the 2nd inning. 7-1, Florida leading. And this is leadership. Torrealba goes over to Greg Reynolds. And yeah, George, you've talked a lot about it. The catcher's invested in what the pitcher does.
There's no question.
Torrealba's a leader.
You feel bad. I mean, when you don't go out and you give up 7 runs, not only did I prepare him myself, but did the catcher prepare me for what I needed to do? And they assume that feeling of the loss, at least catchers should feel as much of the loss as they do the win in a ball game.
Now Cedric Bowers is on. He made his big league debut a couple of days ago, pitched a clean inning. Tonight's call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST.
Well, guess what? He's also going to get another opportunity, probably first opportunity in baseball, and that's to swing the bat here in the bottom of the 1st.
On the ground to third. That gets under Atkins. Tulowitzki is going to help him out.
Great play there. Reaction play by Tulowitzki. I mean, he's going over to backhand the ball. If the ball happens to get by Atkins, it hit off of Atkins' heel. Tulowitzki was right behind him, able to grab it with the bare hand and get it all the way across the field, as Atkins could not handle the baseball. And you get another look at it. Here's the high hop, and watch as Tulowitzki's coming around behind him. Hit off the glove, the bare hand grabs, and then the snap throw to first base by Tulowitzki. Just heads up baseball to get him by a half a stride at first base.
That's your old 5.63. You see that every night. 2 outs. Matt Trainer, who hit a 3-run home run in the first inning, takes ball 1.
Yeah, the first inning, Trainer got after Reynolds on a fastball that was belt high and just out of the reach of Matt Holliday down the left field line for a 3-run home run to make it a 5-0 ball game.
There's a strike.
The double down the left field line by Jacobs. Excuse me, Josh Willingham drove in 2 more runs in this inning. Cedric Bowers trying to stop the bleeding. With the final out here in the second inning.
And ball 4. And that'll load the bases for Messiga. Rockies have walked 3 now in this game and hit a batter. Windshield chipped or cracked, don't wait. Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, at 303-287-5000. Messiga line single to center in the first inning, and he takes a pitch on the outside corner. He went to spring training with the Rockies a few years ago. Got 3 at-bats in April, and then the Rockies let him go, though they liked him a lot. They just didn't have a place for him. And he has found a home the last couple of years in Florida. I'm telling you, last night, Freddie Gonzalez just brags and brags on Messiga, and he said, if he goes down, it's like I've lost 4 guys.
Well, that's absolutely right because of all the positions and what he does. I mean, it's just tremendous. Florida 276 with the bases loaded.
Popped up. Barmes will handle it in short right field. If Bowers comes in and gets the final couple of outs in the inning, 2 more runs for Florida, and they lead it 7-1. A terrific cause. Scott Olson begins the bottom of the second against Chris Iannetta. Rockies touched Olson for a run in the first on back-to-back doubles by Spilborghs and Barmes. 7-1 Florida. And this is going to land in the crowd, so Iannetta stays at the plate with a 1-1 count.
Stay informed all season long with MLB.mobile team alerts, now including video alerts for video-enabled phones. Those mobile alerts include the news, game summaries, lead changes, and a whole lot more. So sign up by texting to Get Rockies 65246 or visit MLB.com/mobile.
1-2. Well, not a pretty line, obviously, for Greg Reynolds. An inning and a third, he gives up 7 runs. All of them earned 7 hits. He walked 2, hit a batter, did not strike anybody out. Coming into the ball game, over his last 4 starts, he'd only walked 2. 2-2 on Iannetta, and looked like a little cut fastball or slider.
I think that's a changeup they've talked about so much. He'll get off to the side and make it appear to be a slider. He'll rotate or pronate to the inside of the baseball and run it a little bit like a sinker. So right out of the hand, you get a really good look at this changeup. And watch what happens to it. And he's got a 2-finger change. What he does, he doesn't use your typical circle. He'll choke back on the 2 seams and create a lot of this movement. See how that backspin on the baseball and then that late dive on it. Did not have a slider type rotation on it.
1-1 on Brad Hop. Joe Kashansky is here. Talk about the AAA All-Star first baseman. He was just named to the AAA All-Star team. And there's Joe. Saw him quite a bit in the spring. Had a big first half for the Sky Sox. And Hop is gone. Back-to-back punch-outs. 3 in the ball game now for Olson. And that'll bring up Troy Tulowitzki. Time for our Geico quote of the day. Matt Hergis. This is something to build on. This is a big win. We came back twice. I hate talking about last year, but that's what we did last year. We picked each other up. That's the kind of game we won all the time last year, and it's what we can do. Matt Hergis talking about the Rockies' 6-5 victory in 11 last night. Hergis was the winning pitcher. Well, if they're to build on it, they're going to have to explode offensively. The good news is there's a whole baseball game in front of them. Down 6 runs right now to the Marlins in the second.
I think you ought to realize that too, that the ball's flying a little bit. So as this ball club goes through that second, third time through, you may have that chance. Olson's going to try to counter some stuff with off speed, change ups.
Center field deep. Ross turns his back. Chase time. It'll be a double for Tulowitzki. Man, did he hit that hard.
Well, starting to see more and more of that from Tulowitzki, and not so much pull conscious all the time, but opposite field. And when you do that, it allows you to drive the baseball. Watch the collapse of the legs as he goes down to get this, and that late drive on the backside. See on the Hyundai cam, ball squared up pretty good. Couldn't hit it any better than that. A lot of backspin to it. Dead central. 11th double of the season for Tulowitzki. Cedric Bowers, his first big league at bat. 2 outs. Why not go ahead and get a hit, get an RBI, huh? Oh, I didn't like the first move.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Get a little bucket move with the first, with his front leg.
Out of Gainesville, Florida, a draft pick of Tampa Bay. Right out of high school. Watch this front foot right here. Watch this, folks. Oops, I don't like that. But normally you bail on a right-hander, not a lefty, but I mean, you know, Cedric's 30 years old, and the guy's never seen a lot of watch here. Here go. Ooh, I don't really like this.
Well, George, it's 2-0. What are, you know, first base is open. What are the chances Olson just passes on Bowers?
Well, he might, because he's scared of the power potential that's there that nobody's seen.
It's 3-0 on Bowers. You know what? Cedric's going to look down at Mike Gallego. Mike's going to give him toothache signs.
No, what he's going to do
for this one and the next one.
Well, and the next one after that. If he gets ball 4, and then they're going to go, wait a minute, you go that way. Don't come down. You got to go down there towards Glen Allen Hill at the other end. Not towards me. Go the other way. See, there you go.
Wow, not even close.
Now scared of the power, but now he's also going to get to see the speed. See on the bases.
Well, Freddie Gonzalez, does that say it all right there? Freddie's got no hair. So he's not smoothing out the hair. It's been a few years since Freddie could do that. He's like, you got to be kidding me. We got a guy that was playing in Korea last year. Gosh knows the last time he had an at-bat, and we just walked him on 4 pitches.
Yeah, he's not the only guy doing it. Mark Wiley's doing the same thing, too. I mean, he knows being around this ballpark enough as a special assistant to Dan O'Dowd. And this organization, walks will kill you. Walks put you in a position of failure in a hurry in this ballpark.
And ball 1 on a guy who can hurt you in a hurry, Ryan Spilborghs.
5 straight balls from a guy typically around the strike zone. Talking about Greg Olson. Spilborghs with that double early.
Spilborghs, a base hit. Tulowitzki striding toward the plate. And the throw is going to be cut off. And that walk really does hurt Scott Olson, as Ryan Spilborghs makes him pay. It's 7-2. Spilborghs' 29th RBI.
Now make it pay even more with 2 outs. And you got the second guy in the lineup right now, Barmas, who just smoked a double to left. Spielberg's just licking his chops. Fastball up, just drove it on the line right past Hanley Ramirez into the outfield. That gets the run in with Tulowitzki and allows Cedric Bowers to coast into second base.
Let's take a look at our exemplar injury report. Todd Helton, if you missed the top of our broadcast, was placed on the 15-day disabled list today. Third time in his career, only the third time he's been on the DL. Strained lower back, and the Rockies have called up Joe Kashansky from AAA Colorado Springs. There's Joe.
Had a great season there. Drew mentioned All-Star. I think he had 18 home runs, 70-something RBIs on the season down there.
Yep, 78 RBIs, hitting .281 in half a season. Here's Barmes, and he takes a strike. 3 All-Stars with the Sky Sox going to the PCL All-Star game. Kashansky, Seth Smith, and Christian Colonel.
Colonel really deserves to go. He's had a big year. I mean, he's a guy that was drafted out of Texas Tech.
Center field, this one could drop. Here comes Ross, and it's going to die in front of Ross. It'll bring home another run. Cedric Bowers scores as Spielbergs goes to third, and here comes Big Daddy. 7-3 Colorado. Now really make them pay.
Pretty amazing to everybody in the ballpark. That walk to Cedric Bowers just set all of this up, and the Rockies have made him pay for it. Second hit in this ball game for Clint Barmes. Second RBI in the ball game for Clint Barmes. Couldn't happen to another guy, better guy. I mean, this guy deserves everything that's happening for him with all the hard work. Dumped into the outfield. Cedric Bowers able to score. Spielbergs to third.
Holiday, soft liner, and Messiga is going to grab it. In the inning, the Rockies take advantage of the walk to Bowers, and they score 2 times. 7-3. They score a couple of times. We go to the third. It's 7-3. Let's get it down to Mark Stout with tonight's great Colorado Payback sideline report. Mark.
Tough start of this 4th of July game for Clint Hurdle, but a great 4th of July day. As he told us before the game, he was the Grand Marshal of the Highlands Ranch 4th of July parade. They invited him about 4 months ago, said they wanted him, his wife Carla, his kids Maddie and Christian. Well, his wife and his kids are in Nags Head, and they are vacationing with her family. He figured they'd say, oh, well, you know, don't worry about it, you got a game that day. Nope. They wanted him. He was there today on the back of a Ford Mustang. Said he threw his candy out and threw it out too quick. Didn't have any by the end of the parade. Didn't conserve enough, but he had a great 4th of July morning in Highlands Ranch. True?
Sounds good, Mark. Thank you for that. Cedric Bowers, who raced around the bases a moment ago, is going to face.
Don't break anything.
Yeah,
don't with your left hand.
Not good. And Scott Olson now has a bat in his hand.
Cedric, don't return the favor. Olson hitting $133 on the season. 3 RBIs, and he does swing the bat a little bit, obviously. Cedric had to run so far. I'm not sure he took a little time catching his breath in between innings. The walk and then the jog to second, the sprint to the plate.
One and two.
Well, you always want to get that first strikeout out of the way, and Cedric Bowers has yet to do that. He came in the other day and gave up a hit, but got the double play ground ball. You always want that memorable guy, you know, say, man, oh man, I got this guy. I got Hanley Ramirez, my first strikeout. And it can be that way if you want to tell it that way, but you'd like to get that first one out of the way, and he's ahead of Olson right here.
Comebacker, and it's going to go through.
Wow.
A base hit. Today's game sponsored by Fidelity Investments. Visit a representative today in Denver, Broomfield, or Lone Tree. So in the third inning, Hanley Ramirez is coming up for the third time. Home run on the first pitch of the game from Greg Reynolds. About 430 feet to center field. And then he singled and scored last inning. Chance for two, which is unusual with Ramirez running, and they'll get it. 1-6-3 on the turn.
Well, even though it's a rarity, I mean, you get it because of the fielding ability of Cedric. I mean, this ball's hit hard. One hop right back at him. Flip over to Tulowitzki on to first base to get Hanley Ramirez. The 4th time this year that he's hit into that double play.
And that's about the only way you're going to turn one over on Hanley Ramirez.
Or catch him trying to steal a base and have a line drive double play. It's just very difficult. He gets up the line extremely well.
You know what, Bowers, George, he did a great thing there. 99 double plays turn now, leading the league in that department.
That's good and bad, though.
Well, yeah, we talked about that. Here's a pitch on Hermida that misses 1-0. But you know from being out there so many times, if you try to rush that throw, all of a sudden you got nobody.
Well, here's the thing about it. A guy running up first base with tremendous speeds, running what, 20 miles an hour, 25, 30 miles an hour in those 90 feet. You're going to throw it 80 miles an hour to second. Take your time. Make the strong, accurate throw. Cedric Bowers did that. An inning and 2/3 is scoreless.
If he's running 30 miles an hour, he's got to go to Beijing. 7-3 on the 4th of July in a wonderful place to be, Coors Field, in the great state of Colorado, as we celebrate our great nation's independence. Garrett Atkins, Jeff Baker, Chris Iannetta in the 3rd inning. Atkins hit a fly ball to center field. Olsen misses there, 1-0. This ball's chopped.
Any baseball team?
All right, you want me to remind you to tell a story this half inning about somebody running 30 miles an hour next to a car?
Well, it's not quite that. Not quite that. This ball line down the left field line, extra bases for Atkins. Moving to turn it into 2. Thought it'd be an easy double, and it is, and it gets away. Atkins is going to move up. It got under the glove of Amesica. That's just sloppy defense. There's no reason in the world that ball should have gotten past a normally very reliable defender in Alfredo Amesica.
Well, he only has 1 error on the season. That's one thing about it. The guy's coming into second base. You don't get lazy, folks. Not in a ball game like this. Because it can come back to haunt you as the walk to Bowers in the previous inning. And now all of a sudden you got a left fielder in Willingham busting over to get this thing. And then it's just a one hop and he didn't even pay attention to it. Tried to have a little dog out there. Had a little mustard on it. Got right between his legs, got by him.
Baker fouls this one off. Hit a fan in the club level right in the chest. He's okay. He got his hands up, and he's upset because he didn't hold it, and then it squirted not only off his hands but down a section.
Bring a glove. Now that we've described how many rows was it down, which seat, what row was it on?
Exactly. Outside.
I'm telling you, bring a glove. You're going to sit in those seats. You got to be able to snag those things. Let's go. That's one thing about the guards here at Coors Field. Boy, they are quick. They'll get over, check on you, and they give you the thumbs up or the safe sign. You just don't want the cross of the arm sign. That's the bad.
This one's fouled off. Another fan with an opportunity. I think this one was handled well.
Snagged it?
Well, I couldn't see the finish of it.
Did he save the beverage and the food? That's the next thing.
Yeah, everybody's good. 1-2 on Baker. Atkins at 3rd. And Baker is going to have himself an RBI. Ramirez took a hit from him. Nice job by Baker getting up the line. 5 RBIs in the last couple of days. Baker hit it on the nose. Great play by Ramirez. But the Rockies, George, are now within 3 runs. After just a dreadful start, but now it's a 3-run ball game.
Yeah, you just pick it at it. You don't try to kill it in one bat. I mean, that's the big thing about it. Just pick at it in this ballpark. Try to get 1 run back at a time. That's what the Rockies have been able to do. There's 1 out, but it's a 7-4 ball game. You capitalized on their mistake.
This is
at second base. Amesica didn't pay attention, so that cost you.
Depending on how this inning finishes up, will determine whether or not that run is an earned run or an unearned run. 0-2 on Chris Ionetti. Struck out his first time. Florida defensively, most errors by far in the National League. Second worst fielding percentage in the game. And this ball's hit well to right field, but it is playable for Hamida. On the warning track, he makes the catch. 2 outs. And now Brad Hopp.
Let's try to see Olson's count. I mean, 51 total in this ball game. He's working into the 3rd inning with 2 outs. A little bit of a high number. Let's see that down about 5 or 6 pitches. Hopefully he gets through it. Does not. And has some problems. But when I watch some of this stuff, I was looking down. Was that close? With 2 outs.
Crowd oohs and ahs. Eight hits for the Marlins, 6 for the Rockies. And this is top to the man on deck, Troy Tulowitzki. He gloves it, and he flips it to a fan. Two balls, 2 strikes. Olson has labored in each inning. Gave up a run in the first, 2 in the second, and a run here in the 3rd. And this is popped up on the left side. Ramirez and Cantu. Ramirez with the better angle will catch it in foul ground. In the inning, Atkins doubled, moved to 3rd on the error by Messica. Baker brought him home. It's a 7-4 affair on the 4th of July. As we go to the top of the 4th inning, Cedric Bowers continues on. It's a rough night for Greg Reynolds. He got only 4 outs. He gave up all 7 runs. Bowers came in, got the final 2 outs in the 2nd inning. He had a good 3rd inning. And he'll face Jorge Cantu, Josh Willingham, and Mike Jacobs. 3, 4, and 5 in the Marlins lineup here in the 4th. Bowers, in the minor leagues, originally with Tampa, was a starting pitcher for a long period of time before they moved him to the bullpen. And George, we discussed this the other day when we first saw Cedric. It's not like he had bad numbers in the minor leagues. He had pretty good numbers. In fact, he had good strike to ball ratio, or excuse me, strikeout to innings pitch ratio in the minor leagues, but never did get an opportunity. And then he finally went over to Japan, pitched there, pitched in Korea last year.
Well, he's probably one of these guys that, you know, just kind of battles around and never does anything to make it just jump out at you. You know, and to be honest with you right now, he probably wouldn't be here right now if there was another left-hander in AAA that was a reliever that could pitch more than 2 or 3 days a week. He did it, and you deserve the promotion. There's no question about it. But he doesn't have the same history in the big leagues as other guys, but yet he deserves the promotion. Tell you what it does, too. The Rockies are very good. Bill Guyvette and Dan O'Dowd do a great job of this. They give a lot of 6-year minor league free agents a shot at coming to spring training and going to AAA. And there's been a lot of those guys that get called up and come to the big leagues.
Yeah, that's going to be a wild pitch. Ionetta tried to block it. Kicked away. Cantu moves to 2nd.
Let's look at the pitch, see where it is. I mean, from center field, difficult to see the flight of the ball, how far out in front of home plate it was. Chris slid over. You're going to look at it here on the Hyundai cam, a really good look. Look at home plate, see where the ball is. Get out in front of the home plate area, try to stay down and react, thinking the ball's going to come up at some point. It doesn't. And off the glove of Chris and allowed the runner to advance. Well, Cantu was also with Tampa. One of these 2 guys were teammates. I bet they were.
And Cantu came up with the Tampa Bay Rays. It's a long time ago, though, George. Back then when Cantu came up there, known as the Devil Rays.
Wasn't that long ago they changed it.
Like 3 months ago.
Trying to change their luck, and obviously it worked.
3-1.
Tampa Bay 11-2 winner over Kansas City today. Boston a 6-4 winner over the Yankees.
They have split that series so far. Boston and New York. 3-1. That's in the strike zone. 3-2. Here's something interesting. I said the other day that if somehow Florida and Tampa reached the World Series, it would be the two lowest payrolls in the game in the World Series. Both teams are playing well, especially the Rays. In fact, Freddie Gonzalez said the Rays are the best team he's seen this year. The Rays swept the Marlins last week. Pulled foul. Highest paid player in the game is Alex Rodriguez. He makes $28 million. Next highest is his teammate Jason Giambi, who makes $23.4 million. The Marlins payroll is $21.8 million. Derek Jeter gets $18.9, Manny Ramirez $18.9, Carlos Beltran $18.6. So there's two guys who make more money than the entire Marlins roster is paid. And there's three guys pretty close. 3-2 again, lifted foul and out of play down the right field line.
A lot of that would change next year with the Marlins because of Hanley Ramirez's long-term contract that he's been going to be paid for, and well-deserved. Some of these young pitchers start to become free agents, and if you don't reload, then you're always going to have to pay them some money.
Yeah, Ricky Nolasco, I'm not sure when they have to start paying him. Rays are 29th. I said that. Their payroll's $43.8 million. Nolasco's won 8 of his last 9 after a slow start. And that misses. So 2 on, nobody out. As Willingham goes to first, and that'll bring up Mike Jacobs. Whatever fits your style, if you're driving a Chevy, you're backed by the best coverage in America. Visit us at ColoradoChevyDealers.com.
And don't forget about the Colorado Rockies and the Baseball Tomorrow Fund. Will be collecting new and used baseball equipment at the gates on July the 19th and 20th. The Pirates are in town, so proceeds will be given to the Denver Public School Foundation for the use of some of the youth programs around the area.
Jacobs a double and a walk.
Yeah, more than likely, this is Cedric's last inning, too. It's the 4th inning. It's due up second. 3-run ball game. He hadn't been extended out a lot of innings in AAA. You don't want to go out and have him go 4 or 5 innings tonight.
Well, the next most likely guy ordinarily to go what you'd call long haul multiple innings would be Matt Hergis, but Matt threw 2 innings last night.
Yeah, you start to flip that over and look at it and say, who would you go to next? More than likely Vizcaino, Grilly. Corpus won an inning. He's very resilient. He could come back tonight in this ball game. A lot of times you see that ball fouled off the front foot, not the back foot. Caught him right on the side of the leg as he strode. As he strided out on that ball, it caught him out on that back leg because everything had come forward, trying to get out on it. That probably hurt worse right there than getting hit with the ball. Huh? What do you think, Zach? Think that hurt worse than getting hit with the ball? We're not turning your mic on. You just say yes or no, all right? We have one Goodman talking in the booth enough, all right?
He flipped his mic down. He was ready to go.
I love it.
1-2 on Mike Jacobs, the former New York Met.
Now you find part of the thing about being in the big leagues too is a lot of those times, like that previous pitch right there, a left-hander, AAA, AA, they'll swing at that pitch. They don't read it out of the hand the way a veteran guy does at the big league level. Jacobs read it, didn't swing at it. What I like is the ability Bowers has to throw the ball right on that outer half.
He made a good pitch. Holiday slides, and Matt did not make the catch. That's going to load the bases. He had to run a long way. Jacobs was out on his front side, and he just hit it down the line, and it dropped for a base hit. So now they're loaded up for Cody Ross.
Now, right off the end of the bat, it was a flat slider that was up that fooled Jacobs. He took enough velocity off of it. A ball that Holiday starts to dive for, looks and appears that maybe it's going to be in his glove, and it just hit off of the heel of the glove and down in front of him. 10 hits in this ball game now for the Marlins.
Marlins have not had a ton of success at Coors Field. Lately, they've been better, 5-2 over their last 7. There's Vizcaino. 19-36 all-time at Coors Field for Florida. The only team with a poorer percentage at Coors Field, the Milwaukee Brewers. (7-4) ball game. Nobody out. Bases loaded. Cody Ross at the plate. And he drives this to the gap in right center field. Spielborg's on his horse, can't get there. This one could clear the bases. In fact, Jacobs right behind Willingham. The throw to the plate, and both score. It's a 3-run double for Ross. Rockies just can't get a 0 up on the board with the Marlins at the plate. 10-4 now.
It's one of those nights at the yard that you're just going to end up dealing with the ball flying, and you know what? Let's hit that batted pitch. Look where this ball is. Down on a little bit of the outer half of the plate. And when it hit, it's going to tail away from Spielborg. Now, I thought Spielborg's right about here was going to make a dive on that ball. He did a good job realizing he couldn't catch the ball if he dove. So he went to play it off of the wall in hopes that you'd only get 2 runs in. They were tracking right behind each other all the way around the bases. Vizcaino, he's starting to warm up down in the Rockies bullpen. You look again, here they come trailing each other. Remember that old play that you saw when at the White Sox or the Cubs where you had 2 guys running right after the other? Maybe it was the Dodgers a couple of years ago, just one right after the other at home plate.
And if you're wondering why that happens, the guy at second has to hang a little closer to the bag than the guy at first. So the guy at first, waiting to see if the ball's going to be caught by Spielborg, is going to be much tighter. That's Jacobs going to be much tighter to Willingham.
Well, part of it is too, Drew, on a base running, when you start to look at it too, you're going to do what the guy in front of you is doing. So you're looking over at third base, you see him tag. So if he catches that ball, you know you're going to score if he drops it from second. So you go back and tag. The runner at first is halfway. So that's what creates the closeness, because if Spielborg catches it, the guy's going to tag and go from third. The guy at second's going to tag and go. There's no reason for the runner at second to be halfway, because he's going to score either way if he doesn't catch the baseball. But if he's halfway or 3/4 and he's got to go back and tag, and Spilly catches it and puts a good throw back to the plate, back into the infield, he's not going to advance. So there's no reason to be that far off. The only guy that is, the guy at first base, can get a little farther off. He's got 2 road stops in front of him.
Again, and that's why they're that close together. I've seen that before when the trail runner can fly and the guy in front of him is not exactly swift. 3-2 on Matt Trainer. Ross at second. 10 runs on 11 hits as the Marlins hit in the 4th. Strike 3. But Bowers strikes out Trainer, first out of the inning. That'll bring up Messica.
They painted the inside corner. Went right at it and got the strikeout right on the inside corner for Bowers, his first big league strikeout for him. Did it catch enough of the plate? Absolutely it did. It just totally fooled him.
Messica 1 for 2, a single and a pop to second. Alfredo grew up in Mexico, and his dad sent him to South Florida as a teenager with some money, hoping to improve his life, and that was the first time he really played organized baseball. And the 2-0 is hit toward the gap in left center field. This one is going to go off the base of the wall. Ross jogs home. A Messica to second. It is 11-4. Yeah, this is what we told you last night. The Marlins have the poorest defense in the National League. They strike out a ton, but they can put up a crooked number on you.
Yeah, they put up a crooked here on Cedric Bowers. Unfortunately, got after him in this inning after he'd worked pretty good that first inning and an inning and 2/3.
4 runs in the 4th inning. Bowers departs. 11-4 Marlins. 13th appearance for Luis. Scott Olson will step in first. Olson 1 for 2. Alfredo Messica is at second base. He just doubled. 12th RBI for Messica as he drove in Cody Ross, who had doubled in 3. Olson with a pretty good hack, fouls it back.
Got a base hit to start this inning. You mentioned that. You know what else is coming up?
The 5th of July. What?
No. It is coming up. When is that? Tomorrow? Drew, is that tomorrow?
That would be tomorrow.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, that's right. You're not going to be here. July 5th, the Marlins are in town. The first 10,000 through the gates. What do you think they get?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
A George Frazier bobblehead.
No, those were given away in Minnesota last year. Matt Holliday bobblehead, courtesy of Esurance. So you purchase your ticket at any of the Rockies ticket outlets to pick up a Matt Holliday bobblehead tomorrow. Be one of those first 10,000 through the gates.
That sounds like a pretty good deal. 0-2 on Olson. He hops out of the way. Olson is from Crystal Lake, Illinois. 6th round pick in 2002 out of high school by Florida. Temperature reached 102 degrees today in Littleton.
What?
It did.
Now, how do you know?
Well, because I had one of those weather bugs on my laptop, and it said it was 102 was the high today at Euclid Middle School in Littleton. And at the start of the ball game, the temperature was 92 degrees. It's cooled off a little bit, George. That happens as the sun goes down.
Well, Mark Stout told me that he said, you know, down there in the camera well, it's very difficult early in the game on a 6 o'clock start. Extremely hot. Atkins stays with it. He's not going to have a chance. He said it's so hot down in the camera world today, I'm going to do my hit from a different area. That's why he went up to the left field area to make that initial hit.
That's where Stout wishes today we were in Phoenix so he could sit in the pool, chase field.
Wait. I just figured it out. You see what's out in left field? Madeline's. It's an ice cream shop. And that's where he was doing this. That's where he did the hit from.
And he hasn't moved.
And he's still.
Is he still? He's still there. He's on his 3rd chocolate sundae.
What is that?
Tell you what, Olson's making Vizcaíno work here. Hey, Stout, can we open up Mark's microphone?
You got to get.
Mark.
Drew.
Come clean. How many ice cream cones have you had?
You know it's National Ice Cream Month. Did you know that?
Absolutely. And
yeah.
I knew you did not want to, keep down the ice cream industry. So how many?
Had 3 waffle cones.
3?
Yeah.
And what about us? We're chopped liver up here?
Couldn't get one with mayo on it, so I decided not to bring one up.
That's for Frazier. That's his issue. Chocolate and coffee ice cream would be real nice
folks,
right now. And we haven't heard from you in 2 innings, so don't tell me you don't have the time.
Yeah.
I do have the time.
All right.
This game's going.
Yeah, exactly. You got all kinds of time. You know where we live.
Hey, how about the Dippin' Dots? Would that work
No,
today?
That's fine with me.
Zachy wants Dippin' Dots. He wants the multi-flavored ones.
I don't know if that's really ice cream,
is
it?
vanilla?
I don't.
Yeah, it's real ice cream.
Yeah.
It seems like it's some kind of a nuclear
thing.
Hey,
surprise us, Mark. Hanley Ramirez, 4 at-bats in 4 innings.
Well, if you're going to surprise me, make sure it's vanilla covered in chocolate.
Yeah, man.
I tell you, folks, Drew looks after me all the time on the road because he always gets on me about my eggs, my bacon, and everything I eat. But you bring ice cream around him,
Gone.
or cookies, they got no shot. He eliminates the diet for those two things.
Yeah, you know, you gotta
splurge every day, every now and then.
Every once in a while.
That's right.
But, you know, I used to bring, well, I still do. I bring those peanut M&Ms up for Sammy.
Yeah, what happened to those?
Niasen,
where are they?
Our wonderful buddy and camera operator up here who shares the booth with us.
Where
for many years.
Are they? We all know
They're over
Sam
there
is.
because I give them to Sam. But what happens is we start eating them now, and there's Sam. He's hiding behind the camera because he's camera shy. Okay, here's Zachy. There's Frazier over there. Here's Dougie. Pat Doug on the head. Doug didn't have a concert to go to tonight, so he's gracing us with his presence. Who ate the peanut M&Ms tonight? They're all gone. 1-2, and that just missed. 2-2.
I got an idea, and he's not very tall, and he's missing tooth in the front. How many did you have? Well, yeah, I noticed he started giving me the change sign. I'm asking Zach, how many did he have? He's going,
Show that smile in the 3-2. Here we go. How many teeth? Let's see how many can smile. All right, we're missing that one. That one's just coming in. What else is going on? We're missing that one down there. We just have to feed you chocolate shakes for about 2 months, huh? 3-2 on Ramirez. Oh no! This ball to the gap in left center again. Messiga is going to come home. Ramirez has his 3rd hit. His 2nd RBI. He's got 43. And it's 12-4. 13 hits in 3 2/3 innings. That's why they say, George, your momentum for the next game is all about the starting pitcher.
Well, there's no question about it. Unfortunately for today for the Rockies, a bad outing for Craig Reynolds. And obviously you'd like to see something better on the Hyundai Cam, getting some pretty good swings on pitches. Out over the plate. This ball driven out of the reach of Matt Holliday in left field. Amazing, a very casual jog to the plate.
This is the 2nd time in the ball game that the Marlins have hit around. They've almost hit around 3 times. In the 1st inning, they hit around. In the 2nd inning, 8 came to bat. And here in the 4th, this is the 9th man, Hermida, and he's going to get a base hit. Here comes Hobb. He may have a chance at Ramirez. Here's the throw, and it won't be in time. Make it 13-4. Hermida with his 39th RBI.
I love it. I love it.
Look at this.
Bill Masters, it works out there. He is absolutely awesome. And look what I got. Look what we got, Zachy. Don't share. He won't. Look what we got. Bill, I want to tell you, send some to the truck. Okay, we'll send some down to the truck.
They're begging again.
I want to tell you a little story, Drew. You know this, but the fans at home may not know this, and maybe we can shoot Bill when he gets back downstairs in the area, in the writers area down below. But he was Tracy Ringolsby's principal. Do you know that? And teacher. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not.
You didn't know that? I thought you knew that.
Why is Tracy look, or why does Bill look younger than Tracy then?
Well, Bill doesn't ride horses. Yeah, you didn't know that.
I did.
And it was great
Cheyenne?
because Bill brought the yearbook in and showed me the pictures of Tracy, high school kid.
Wow.
I thought you knew that. That's pretty good. Ha, we got a whole bunch, but they got glue on them. We can't open them, Zach. What's up with that? Huh? Did you bring any scissors with you? You did?
0-2 on Cantu. Cantu started the inning with a single.
Uh-oh. So, I'm just laughing, folks. There's Bill. Right there he is. Right here.
There's Judy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
got all our friends. Who else can we find in the press box tonight? You know what? We haven't done that. We haven't done that in a while. Just hand the press box.
Zachy, what happened to all of your M&Ms?
0-2.
I didn't mean to. Goody. Goody.
What?
Zach and I are trying to get all the M&Ms open.
Are they on the floor? That's all right. Sammy will eat them still.
And we're trying. Zach's hunting for the. Zachy's hunting for.
There
he is. There he is.
No, don't throw those out. Those are good.
They're down on the carpet.
5-second rule.
Zachy,
5-second rule, buddy.
Zachy, do what your mother tells you to do, not your father.
You can
Trust
eat
me.
those.
Holy cow.
You don't think Sam, look at Sam. You don't think he'll eat those?
I know he won't eat those. Sam is
Sam,
very
would you eat
particular.
those? He's shaking his head no.
He ain't gonna eat. He's not gonna eat those.
Doug,
Here
Doug, do you believe Sammy? You don't believe.
You got one more.
This carpet's cleaned every night, Fraze. It's fine.
Don't move your chair.
1-2 on Cantu, and this is in the air to right field. Hop will make the catch, and the inning finally ends. 6 runs for the Marlins. They go with a 2-run second and a 5-run first. They're up 13-4.
You know, since we started last year's commercials, things have been a little different around here. I don't think we let it go to our heads.
Got all the poppy seeds off your bagel, Mr. Francis.
God, I can hit one further than that.
Helton home run, take 19.
I only dream poker. I can work like this. I'll be at my training.
Would you like an autograph? Because I can do that, you know.
13-4, the Marlins leading. They have 14 hits. As we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, Troy Tulowitzki against Scott Olson. It's not like Olson's been lights out. The Rockies have had opportunities in every inning, and in fact they've scored in every inning. A run in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third. And this ball is just foul. Tell you what, going to the top of that 4th inning, George, it was a 7-4 game. Rockies had to feel real good about themselves. They were down 7-1. They were right back in the ball game. But now you're down by 9 runs. You grind out every at bat, see what happens. 2-1. Tulo a double and a run scored his first at bat.
What you try to do now, if you're Olson, you mentioned what the Rockies had done against them. You fight your way through 5 innings. I mean, that's basically what you're going to have to do, because the high pitch count, everything that's going on in the game. Been on the base paths a couple of times. Yeah, it's one of those that if they go on to win the ball game, you just chalk up as an ugly win.
He's desperate for a win. He's got 10 starts without one. This is chopped to third. Cantu across the diamond, 1 out. Let's check in with Mark Stout. Mark, what do you know?
Aflac trivia time, Drew. I'm out here in center field. We got the Rockies sign up. We'll change that in a moment for the answer because I'm going to elaborate. Simple question. Name the teams in Major League history in the game today that have not hit for the cycle. The Rockies have had 4 players hit for the cycle. They've done it. There are 3 teams that haven't. Name the 3 teams. We'll get to that coming up.
Mike Lansing hit for the cycle here.
Helton hit for the cycle.
So Helton has hit for the cycle.
Vizcaino takes down low, 2-0. There's not been a strike thrown to one of the Rockies relief pitchers tonight. Bowers walked on 4 pitches. It's 2-0 on Vizcaino. And don't think Scott Olson wasn't aware of that.
He's just trying to lock in. He's sitting there with an 8-run lead. To make sure they get some things done.
He's fouled off again. Not a bad hack for Vizcaino. Always love looking this up, George. Vizcaino enjoying his 5th career at bat. He's now 0 for 5. 2 outs. Mark's going to answer our trivia question tonight, brought to you by Aflac. Mark.
All right. I know you're ready for the answer. The 3 teams that haven't hit for the cycle, the Marlins playing here, the Rays and the Padres. You mentioned some of the guys that have hit for the cycle. Well, Todd Helton's name is here. He hit for the cycle against the Marlins in June of 1999. An interesting thing about that game, I checked the box score, and the box score is great on the 4th of July because it is ultimately American. In that game, he led off every inning of his 4 at-bats. So in order to hit for the cycle, he had to lead off. He was 4 for 4 in the game with 2 runs and 1 RBI on a solo homer. Led off the 2nd, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th, or something like that. And I talked to Vinny Castilla, whose birthday is today, And I said, Vinny, you know, you hit in front of Todd in that game. Do you remember it? Nope. Well, in front of him were Walker, Bichette, and Castilla. Castilla was 0 for 5 with 2 Ks. I think Bichette had 1 hit. It was a 10-2 win. But Helton led off every inning in that game in which he hit for the cycle. As this one is collided.
This one may find the concourse. Are you kidding me? It did. Up on the concourse, 1 bounce. And had their girder not been up there, it had been out in the parking lot.
Well, I thought it did get out in the parking lot right over that walkway. There's some stairs there. A little bit of anger in that swing by Mr. Spilborghs. He didn't like the way this game's going after he knocked in the winning run last night. This offense starting to come alive, and they're doing it with the long ball. My, oh my. You want to see some bat speed come through. That's one of the farthest balls hit in that left field line. And here's a line shot to left by Barmes.
That'll end the inning. That Spilborghs home run was in Big Daddy territory. That thing was hammered. 13-5 Florida. Foul ball. Josh Willingham leading things off against Luis Vizcaíno. 13 runs on 14 hits and an error for Florida. 5 runs, 7 hits tonight for Colorado. Rockies won last night 6-5 in 11. Good pitch. Vizcaíno races to the bag, and he'll beat Willingham there. Takes the feed from Jeff Baker. 1 out. That'll bring up Mike Jacobs. Windshield chipped or cracked, don't wait. Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, at 303-287-5000 or visit safelight.com.
Well, Coors Field, a great place to hold a special event. It's a great place to play baseball. You like to come out, make the most of everything. Come out and watch a ball game, hold your event, and have a lot of fun. Call the Rockies at 303-312-2552.
Well, George, you know, our trivia question last inning from Mark Stout and our friends at Affleck concerned cycles, right? Well, Spilly right now is a triple shy of the cycle. He's got all the easy stuff out of the way, the single, the double, the home run. Now the hard thing, the triple. There have been 8,000, Mike, repeat it in my ear if you would. All right, 8,184 instances. Well, that's a miscommunication there.
Yeah, no question. Baker could have got that ball. I thought he was going to get the baseball.
And again,
I really did.
Jeff's making just his 10th start at first base. And he must have felt like Barmes was behind him in the hole.
But normally, I mean, you're throwing a guy throwing pretty hard. You're going to play more up to the middle on that than you are as a second baseman. So as a first baseman, you got to be able to move side to side a little bit more. I thought Baker had that ball.
Now, to finish the story, there's been 8,184 instances where a guy has come up a triple shy of the cycle. We keep every stat in this great game. Jacobs at first, 1 out. Cody Ross, a 3-run double his last time. Jacobs at first is 3 for 3 and a walk. Did a little more math on that figure. So basically 1 out of every 12 ball games somebody has a single, double, and a home run. It's not every 12 days, actually every 12 games. And there's usually more than 12 games played unless it's a Monday or a Thursday and it's a lighter schedule. Tonight there's 15 games in the big leagues. So that happens somewhere in baseball virtually every day. And tonight we hope Spilly pulls the trick off with a triple. He'll have in all likelihood, a couple more at bats. And this is going to find a hole on the left side. Cody Ross with his second knock. 15 hits for the Marlins.
One out in the
fifth inning.
Yeah, one out in the fifth inning right now. I know that's what's Vizcaino. He's a little frustrated right now. Making some pretty good pitches. Tonight's just one of those nights. Everything's fine in the hole. It's going in. The long ball's leaving the yard. I mean, it's one of those nights when the phone rings in the bullpen, you hope they don't call your name. Because no matter what seems like you're throwing, the results are the same.
In the air to center field off the bat of Matt Trainer. And 2 outs. And that'll bring up Alfredo Amesica. Amesica, out of Miami High School, was drafted by the Rockies in the 44th round. He turned it down to go to St. Petersburg College. Stole 70 bases in junior college. This ball is fouled off out of play. Strike 1 and 2. Amesica's played every position on the diamond other than behind the plate and as a pitcher. By the way, after junior college, Amesica was drafted in the 13th round by the Angels. Two and 2 on Alfredo.
Watch out.
There's a couple of guys on this Marlins team that Vinny Castilla has gotten to know well from the World Baseball Classic and Team Mexico. Alfredo Amesica being one, Jorge Cantu being another. This is softly hit, and Tulowitzki's going to be able to retreat and get it for the third out. In the inning, there were a couple of singles, 2 men left on. It is just the second time they haven't scored tonight. Columbia graduate, Hall of Famer Lou Gehrig. Bottom of the 5th inning, Matt Holliday, Garrett Atkins, Jeff Baker. And this ball unloaded to the gap in right center field, and this is clear gone. That's how hard he hit it. Holliday hits a line drive that just kept on going. For Matt, his 11th home run of the year, and it's 13-6. Olsen may be winning this game, George, it has more to do with the fact that the Marlins have 13 runs than anything he's done.
Well, sure. I mean, that's the thing is he's given up 8 hits. They've left the yard a couple of times on him. Holiday showing off his strength right now on a fastball down and away, a line drive right out into that bullpen area. Nobody will catch this other than Jason Greeley's warming up out there right now. And again, yeah, in his last 10 starts, he's 0-3. But he'll take an ugly win at this point. And this will end up being an ugly win if they hang on to the ball game. I mean, it could end up, this game could end up 18-15. I mean, I've seen it. You know, I was talking to people in between the break, and they said, man, it's like the old days. The Rockies may throw 9 on the board before it's over with, and they may very well do it. It's happened many times. Olsen was 77 pitches. I mean, they may just try to change the look after the 5th, maybe the 6th inning.
Well, this is a base hit to left center field. I know Freddie Gonzalez. I mean, he wants, in the worst way, to get Scott Olsen a win. He's got a lot of runs to play with, but he also has been around. Freddie worked for Bobby Cox for a number of years, and he knows this ballpark, and he knows this ballpark when it's hot. And it's hot tonight. And he knows that that Rockies lineup can put up big numbers. Nobody out in the 5th inning, 13-6. Atkins at first. Baker at the plate, 0 for 2. He did drive in a run his last time up. Outside, ball 1. The 13 runs and 16 hits are season highs for the Marlins. 2-0. Another little footnote on the home run by Holiday. That's his 114th, which is 7th on the Rockies list. Helton leads with 310. Larry Walker 258. Vinny 239. Bichette at 201. This ball's hammered to left field, and this is going to one-hop the wall. Atkins to third. He'll stop there. Baker slides in with a double, and now George, you start doing a little math again. Base hit, 13-8, nobody out. Who knows?
Well, that's right. And back when I looked at this ball game, and you were in the 2nd inning, and it was 7-3 at the time, I said, you know, they got a chance to win this ball game. Then it got expanded more, and he said, maybe not. And all of a sudden, here you go. Baker coming up with a double. Still nobody out in the inning. And this is where the danger factor comes in. One swing, and you're in the seats. Iannetta at the plate, too. Yeah, their bullpen, they got to start warming up somebody here pretty quick.
Yeah, Mark Wiley having a conference at the mound. I just asked Matt Trainer, how's he looking? He goes, I don't know, I haven't caught one in a while.
Yeah, it hadn't happened in a while for a couple of innings. The left-hander looks like Tankersley's going to get up and start throwing. Tankersley, a former #1 draft pick of the Florida Marlins.
Oh, man, the Vikings, by the way, today, George, speaking of big days, Vikings have 3 touchdowns. The Browns have a field goal.
Livan Hernandez is the one reaping all the rewards, but who was it that started for Cleveland?
Just bear with me for a moment. I'll let you know.
21-3 in the 9th.
No, it's the 4th quarter. The number on the
Bird
left's wrong.
started for Cleveland. The computer race won again by Doug.
I don't think he's around anymore, Bird. One and one on Chris Iannetta. Iannetta hammers one. Deep left field. Take a good look. You won't see this for long or maybe ever again. Another concourse shot. We were looking for a single. Iannetta went 3 bags better. 13-9. 8th home run for Iannetta.
30 RBIs. Put a smile on it, Chris. You hit that a long ways. You and Ryan Spilborghs have gone way deep at the yard. Every time they've come inside, meaning Olsen, it hasn't been a good result. We see Iannetta do this occasionally in batting practice, but to do it in a game in a packed house on a hot night on the 4th of July, oh, isn't it pretty? Everybody on the back row better start getting gloves.
Everybody in Madeline's better put a hard hat on. This ball pulled toward the hole. Mesa goes over there, and he's going to toss to first, and Hop is retired. One out. That'll bring up Tulowitzki. There's our buddy Keith Schultz getting a little airtime.
Yeah, Keith's son, Aaron, here in the ballpark with him. Schultz down in the dugout going, I keep hearing these noises out here because he's always working during the ball. I'm going to go see what's going on. Schultz going, holy cow, 22 runs, 27 hits. Chewing seeds, how unusual. Schultz likes to come down and watch. He's in the Hall of Fame at Metro as a baseball player. He's worked with the Rockies from the very beginning.
Yeah, he goes all the way back to Denver Zephyr days. Hey, we got tacos to give away. That's right. The Rockies have scored 7+, so tomorrow between 4 and 6 in the afternoon, go to your participating Colorado Taco Bell locations, and you'll get 4 tacos for $1. 4 tacos for $1. That's a steal. Only 1 order per customer. Tulo fouls off another.
Now, I'll remind everybody, July 17th through the 23rd, the Pirates and the Dodgers are going to visit Coors Field. The series includes the Rockies Photo Day, July 19th, and then Dollar Hot Dog Night on July 22nd. Purchase the tickets for that game at Coors Field, the King Supers. That's in the upper deck, wrong side of the white line. The Rockies dugout stores, call 1-800-388-ROCK or just go online with the ColoradoRockies.com.
That's down. It's 1-2. The Rockies got a run in the first, 2 in the second, a run in the third, a run in the fourth, 4 in the fifth. And 1 out, nobody on. 2-2. Well, the Rockies have put their ace in the hole, George. Aaron Cook, he's out on deck. Can't get him out, not in the pinch. This is line foul. He's going to need a new bat. Today's game sponsored by Fidelity Investments. Visit a representative today in Denver, Broomfield, or Lone Tree. Dougie, a buddy of mine down in Durango wanted to know how far that ball traveled off the bat of Ionetta and the earlier one off Spilborg. Do you have any idea? Spillies went 435. And they're still putting the ruler out there on Ionetta's. This ball is fouled off. It's good at bat right now from Tulowitzki. On the ground to second.
What happened? Who's running the board out there on the Minnesota score? It was 21-3. Now it's 12-3.
Well, you know what? What happened?
I know. We all know.
No, I know exactly.
You got the 2 and the 1 crisscross this way. Yeah,
Eric Wedge threw the red bean bag, and they evidently went to replay and they took a touchdown to safety off the board. Aaron Cook, a soft liner grabbed by a Meziga, but the Rockies had a big inning. Matt Holliday, a line home run to right center, a couple of singles, or excuse me, a single and a double, and then Chris Ionetta tried to hit one to Arvada. He almost did. 13-9. And the Rockies typically put on one of the best shows in the West. They had a 20+ minute show last night, and the same coming after the ball game tonight, but this one has been curious. 22 runs combined in the ball game as Jason Grilli comes on for the Rockies. Scott Olson hitting for himself, and I don't know if this is an indication he's coming back out or more an indication.
Nobody's warming up.
Yeah, it may still be an indication Freddie Gonzalez thinks he's going to have to keep all hands on deck for late in this ball game if it tightens up anymore.
See, Tankersley was throwing. I don't know if that's him still standing up on the mound out there, maybe taking a breather till you get 2 outs and then start to throw. If he was close to being ready, they'll learn to save a little bit down in the bullpen. See, that's Tankersley standing down there. So, I mean, they're going over some of the hitters of who they have coming up. And if he was close to being ready, he'll just kind of stop and watch. And then when you get 1 out, maybe start to throw again.
Luis Vizcaino went an inning and 2/3, gave up a run on 4 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 1. Greg Reynolds started, inning and a 1/3, 7 runs on 7 hits. Cedric Bowers a couple innings, gave up 5 runs on 5 hits. Three and 2 on Olsen. He's 1 for 3 in the game.
Tell you what this game does for you. Coming out of the bullpen about right now, you realize real quick that the way the bat is swinging for the Rockies, if you could just put up a couple of innings of zeros, you might have a shot at it. Oh, getting a win in this ball game the way things are going. You may not, but I mean, through 5 innings, I like the chances.
Absolutely. The Rockies have scored in every inning. You got 12 outs to work with offensively. Hanley Ramirez coming up as we check in with Mark Stat. Mark.
Hot dogs, baseball, apple pie. Jason Grilli is an All-American guy. I talked to him today. He grew up around Syracuse, about an hour and 20 minutes from Cooperstown, has visited that frequently. He's been to the Hall of Fame. And I asked him what he goes to see or what he was in awe of what he saw. Well, he said one thing is his dad's hat is in there because his dad, Steve, pitched in the big leagues and also was the loser in the longest game ever, that minor league game when he pitched for Pawtucket. And also Nolan Ryan was his guy. Everybody has their guy. That's who he wanted to be. So he always checks out the Nolan Ryan stuff when he goes to the Hall of Fame. And he's been there a number of times because he's from Central New York. Don't know if you guys have been there or not, but I asked a few others. Clint Barmas was there only at Doubleday Field. Did not get into the Hall of Fame, though, guys.
I tell you what, it was a fun trip a couple years ago. Actually, let's go back 6 years. The Rockies played in the Hall of Fame game against the White Sox one year, and we got a late night tour of the Hall of Fame. I know, George, you've been there. Growing up in New York, I've been there a few times. Took the whole family after the season. I think it was 3 years ago. The Rockies finished against the Mets in New York. We all went up there. The Lees returning. Just a gorgeous village. And if you're a baseball fan, any kind of baseball fan, you got to find your way to Cooperstown someday.
Neat experience, an overwhelming experience. Speaking as a former ball player, to go there and to see the things they have, it's just tremendous. Hey,
what's that? Is that a 1-2-3 inning?
I love it.
Haven't seen many of those this evening. Back to the back rat for the Rockies, 13-9.
Take the submarine throwing lefty. Fuentes, you're with me.
I need a young arm to close this deal. Corpus, over here.
Well, we know he can catch the ball. Inetta, you're with us.
Well, just look at him. I'll take Hirsch.
Addy, I can't believe you're still available. Get over here.
Valdo, necesito your arm. You're with us.
Guess we'll take Dinger.
Yes! Yes! Let's go.
How about this one on the 4th of July? You like offense? You like the throwback days at Coors Field? You got one tonight on the 4th. 13-9 Marlins, 16 hits for Florida, 11 for the Rockies. Colorado has hit 2 balls tonight up onto the concourse. Ryan Spilborgh's and Chris Ionetta. Ionetta's was a 3-run blast. Spilly's was a solo home run. Holiday, you see in the background, he has a home run to right center tonight. And in the 6th inning, it'll be Spilborgh's to lead things off. The new pitcher is Taylor Tankersley, who was just recalled yesterday from the minor leagues.
25 years old, a little over a year at the big league level. A first-round pick of the Marlins in 2004, the 27th selection in the first round. A high earned run average, has had difficulty staying consistent within the strike zone. 6'1", 220-pound lefty.
Here's an interesting split on him, George. Lefties are hitting 375, righties 214.
A lot of times when I see that, it's the sinker that doesn't sink against the lefties. You know, they just don't have that swing and miss pitch versus the left-handers. And you work behind an account. Well, you're there now. Well, Spilborg in the 5th inning. Folks, this is one that when you hit it, you ought to get to deserve to watch it, because this thing traveled to the concourse and nearly bounced out of the ballpark.
Three and 0. Freddie Gonzalez has a shaved head. George, if he didn't, I think a lot of the hair would be sitting in his hat. I mean, look at that. Freddie's just got one of those looks of, oh,
very
man.
frustrated. Carlos Toscas is his bench coach. Mark Wiley, the pitching coach. And all you can do is keep trying to pull numbers out. And Clint's hair used to be dark too until about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It happens.
Freddie was asked yesterday the biggest thing he learned working for Bobby Cox. And he said patience. This ball is hit well left center field. Does it have enough? Well, what did he say? Double or home run?
Home run.
That's a home run. That's out of here. Spilly's got 2 tonight. And it's 13-10. Somewhere, Dante Bichette, Larry Walker, Ellis Burks, they're all grinning right now. They remember this.
You remember the feeling in the dugout for both sides, for Freddie and for the Rockies dugout. The happy days of Coors Field when it was 14-13 type ball games. That's where it used to be prior to the humidor. And then all of a sudden it kind of made this park play fair, but it's not playing fair tonight. You make a mistake tonight, this thing travels. Barely clearing in left center field. You'll see that it hits back behind that gentleman and then ricochets back into the park over that yellow line. You can see the reaction from the crowd. A home run.
Barmes takes down low, 1-1. Spilborgs with his 3rd career multi-home run game. He's 4 for 4 tonight, 3 RBIs.
In Baltimore, he hit those 2 3-run shots and had 6 RBIs. Remember that? Right after in early June last year.
And this ball to center field. Ross is going to have to field it on a hop. Barmes with his 3rd knock. The Rockies are almost catching the Marlins in runs. They're almost catching them in hits. That's their 13th knock tonight.
Barmes last night was 2 for 4 in the ball game. You mentioned the 3 hits today as he's hitting the 2-hole. He's hitting line drives everywhere. It's the 6th inning, folks. It's 23 runs on the board. I love it.
You know what Gonzalez is thinking? He's saying, he's not probably saying this out loud, but he looks up, they have 13 runs, and he doesn't think that's enough to win the game.
Well, no, I mean, and that's what happens. Things get blown up. Holiday had a home run back in the 5th inning in right center field, just a frozen rope. You could have hung the whole family's laundry on this and ricocheted around on that back wall back there. But he's thinking in his mind, too, who do I go to in my bullpen without blowing things up? What's the choices? We've gone back-to-back left-handers. We've given up 10 runs on 13 hits. The Rockies, unfortunately, their bullpen's given up 6 runs. So, I mean, it's long from being over.
Oh, he was on that one. 1-2. And that's the biggest thing, George. Rockies, when you're down 13-4, you're never going to say it, never going to admit it, but you feel like, man, it's going to be tough. Now all of a sudden, it's 13-10. You're in the 6th inning, and you're like, we're going to get this thing done.
3 runs or nothing. It's up to the bullpen to make sure everything gets shut down and stays shut down. First good breaking ball from Tankersley at 77, and it was nasty. He's going to get Holiday on a strikeout to record the 1st inning here in the 6th inning. He really got on top of that. Good hard dive and angles and tilt at the plate.
1 out. Garrett Atkins at the plate. He's got a single and a double and a couple of runs scored in 3 at-bats. Scott Olson goes 5 innings, allows 9 runs on 11 hits, and he's on the plus side. Actually, 8 of the 9 runs are earned. One and one on Atkins. Barmes at first. Rockies have played the Marlins 131 times. They've won 66, and the Marlins have won 65. Atkins, 2 more hits against Olson, and he came in hitting .470 against lefties. Doug's going to break out the calculator. The average, I mean, it's ridiculous, George. He's hitting close to 500 against left-handed pitching this year.
I mean, it's just phenomenal.
You know, you're not talking about 14 at bats or something like that. There goes Barmes, and this ball is golfed foul. Atkins has 68 at-bats this year against left-handed pitching. He has 33 hits. Actually 69 at-bats. Doug's doing the math. It's .478. That's down, and Barmes sets his heads up base run. Secondary lead, ball in the dirt, take off. And that's huge. Takes the double play out of order, puts another runner in scoring position.
Absolutely it does. He just a base hit now, puts the other run in. Obviously it would make this a 2-run ball game, but it react to the ball. If you're on the balls of your feet, you see a ball in the dirt, you can react much quicker than, oh, it's in the dirt, now go. Read the pitch into the plate. See if he goes slider as he did on Matt Holliday. Sure did. Tried to drop it on that back foot of Atkins. Didn't get him to go.
Both of these teams have been challenged this year with runners in scoring position. Not tonight. The Marlins 8 for 16. The Rockies 4 for 9. 3 and 2 on Atkins. Baker on deck. 1 out. 13-10 Florida. Good job of hitting there by Atkins. Another biting slider from Tankersley. And this is wasted down the right field line. Well, if you include George going back to Spilly's hit to win it last night in the 11th, 5 straight hits for Ryan Spilborghs, 5 RBIs, a couple of home runs. This ball is just foul.
Well, you keep seeing these opportunities pop up. You almost think that sooner or later Atkins going to get one between the lines with some authority. That was the 9th pitch to him.
Whatever fits your style. If you're driving a Chevy, you're backed by the best coverage in America. Visit us at ColoradoChevyDealers.com. This ball's hit to left field pretty deep. Did Atkins get it? Yep, he sure did. It's a one-run game. Garrett Atkins with his 12th. Here come the Rockies. And here comes Freddie Gonzalez to get Taylor Tankersley. Look at the long ball again.
And he just can't wait around. He realizes what kind of ball game he's in. Enough sliders. Atkins saw 10 pitches and finally leaves the yard on a slider that stayed up in the strike zone for Garrett Atkins. 12 home runs, 49 RBIs. This just gets out of the reach of Josh Willingham and up into the seats. Whoa. Did you ever think of this happening in this ball game? I know Freddie Gonzalez wasn't thinking that after the first.
13-12 now. Unreal. Well, if you dropped out when the Rockies were down 13-4, welcome back. Happy 4th of July. The Rockies are now down just a run as they continue to hit in the 6th inning. Jeff Baker takes ball 1 from Joe Nelson.
Nelson pitched in last night's ball game, was fairly effective in the ball game as he pitched for the Marlins. And you know, again, this is a guy that has gone through 2 labrum surgeries. He's pitched in 18 games, 17 innings pitched, 159 earned run average. Best pitch, changeup. Come at you with a fastball, 86 to 89 miles an hour. Veteran, 34 years old.
You know, the Rockies have hit 5 home runs tonight, the most they've hit in a ball game this year. They've matched their season high with a dozen runs. They had 12 back on April 9th against Atlanta. 1-2 on Baker. Baker is 1 for 3. He has a double, an RBI. Let's check in with Mark Stout.
George, you know, something I've been thinking about it, and it kind of hit me when we were in Philadelphia and Greg Luzinski had his barbecue stand in right field. I was saying to myself, maybe a Dante Bichette barbecue in right field here in at Coors Field. This kind of time, you know, the team's been around long enough, and I'm sure there's people that came to the games when they were at least teenagers, now probably have families and can kind of, you know, live that history and the heritage, and this game reminds you of those days.
Well, it does. I don't know if Dante will put in the barbecue shop, but he'd love to come back to Coors Field again and just kind of hang out. I know this is a favorite place for him. Really made a landmark difference in Dante's career. One of the best 2-strike hitters I've ever watched play the game. Wade Boggs and Wade Boggs and George Brett.
Vinny is still here, obviously, with the team, and
Walt Weiss.
Yep.
Walt and Vinny around every day. Down low, Baker draws a walk.
These were the kind of games back in the day where you knew the fountains were going to go off a number of times in center field, regardless of the outcome. And it just got me thinking when I saw Greg Luzinski, and you know, George, we had fun with that and talked to him when we were in Philadelphia, that you could get some of the old ball players out here. And I was looking at that box score from '99 where it was Walker, Bichette, and Castilla in front of Helton in that game when he hit for the cycle.
Well, you know what, Mark? I came here in '98 to do ball games full time, did a handful in '97. And you come into this ballpark, you never ever thought, and Kenny Miller at that time was directing the ball games and still does. But he'd always say, Frage, it's never over. It's never over. And I mean, he'd have games like this all the time.
Yeah. This is a throwback ball game, no question. Iannetta hit a bomb his last time up with 2 aboard. Didn't pull the trigger. It's 1-1. Tying run is at first and Jeff Baker with 1 out. In the bottom of the 6th, the Rockies had the go-ahead run at the plate. And again, they were down 13-4 after the top half of the 4th inning. Iannetta went 1-2. You know, this one, George and Mark, has got me thinking of a ball game on the 4th of July 4 years ago. Rockies were down here at Coors Field 8-0 to the Tigers. They would win it 10-8, matching their largest comeback ever. They're down 9 tonight, and now they're within a run. 3 times the Rockies have erased 8-run deficits. The last time being the 4th of July in 2004. They did it in 2001 against the Padres, down 8-0. They did it in game 1 of a doubleheader against the Padres in '94, down 8-0. 2-2 on Iannetta. Brad Hopp hoping to get a chance.
You face a right-hander. He's had a couple of lefties last night. He was in the lineup, and then again tonight going against Olson, and then against with Olson a couple of times. He'd like to get up and have his shot at a right-hander and see what he can do with it.
Outside, now it's 3-2. Well, you start Baker here, George?
Why not? Put him in motion. One of the other reasons I say that, watch the stance and kick of Nelson on the mound. Running first, you get a pretty big jump off of him.
He's going, doesn't matter. That's out of the strike zone. So Freddie Gonzalez trying to find somebody to cool the Rockies' bats. And he calls on Nelson, and he's walked the first two. And here comes Hopp, the only man in the Rockies lineup not to have reached to the ballgame. Bradley's 0 for 3. Trying to change that right now as we take a look at our Coors Light freeze cam. Celebrating the 4th of July at the ballpark. Is there anything more American than that? Some of the images from this evening. And that's the cap, by the way, the Rockies are wearing tonight. It's hard to tell, even with high definition. When we get a real close shot and the Rockies are out in the field, their soft cap, there's Ubaldo, the dugout. So it's got the red, white, and blue emblem, and it's not purple, it's actually a blue cap. And the Rockies are going to wear the caps this weekend. And the Marlins are wearing a similar cap. 2 on, 1 out, Brad Hopp with 11 home runs. High, ball 1.
By the way, I called down on that Susan Strand. Look up in the truck. How many pitches have been thrown in this game so far? Well, just to give you an indication, that was 271. Have been thrown in this game so far. The record, if my best recollection, Mike Helling was producing the games then. So we're going to go back 6-7 years ago. Was 428.
You know what? If the Rockies can pull this thing out and it takes 428 darts, so be it. Inside. No, called a strike. 2-2.
Yeah, Hopp not happy with it. Neither was the crowd because of his reaction. Missed his mark by quite a bit. Hopp has to look back. So was it inside or did it caught enough of the plate? It may have been a little low, but it caught enough of the plate.
And the strikeout of Hopp on high heat. That'll bring up Tulowitzki. 2 outs. Baker at second. Iannetta at first.
We'll see this. It's a high fastball. And I guarantee you, Gonzalez went down to Nelson, a 34-year-old veteran, instead of one of the younger kids out of the bullpen. Hopes he can get a couple of outs, try to slow down this thing a little bit. Got a couple of walks. Now the strikeout of Hopp. He'll go at Tulowitzki. Kashansky out on the on-deck circle.
Ball on Tulowitzki. Last time the Rockies hit 5 or more home runs in a game, September 13, 2004, here against the Diamondbacks. Two and up. geared up to hit the fastball, and he got a changeup.
Well, that's part of why I think this veteran's in the ball game. He's got a very good split finger. He's got a good straight change to go along with his fastball that's up around 80 miles an hour, 88 miles an hour. Tough to adjust to it. It's a changeup at 80.
This ball's hit well left center field. Cody Ross is going to get there, though. Rockies almost tied it right there. In the inning, 3 runs. It's a 1-run game. Everybody in attendance enjoying this one. The Rockies trail 13-12 in the top of the 7th inning. They were down 13-4 a couple of innings ago. Jason Grilli had a 1-2-3 6th. He'll look to do the same in the 7th. Jorge Cantu, Josh Willingham, and Mike Jacobs. 3, 4, and 5 in this Marlins lineup. Cantu has scored 3 runs tonight, as you see on that graphic. And he's got a base hit toward the gap in left center field, and a long run for Holiday. He's going to get there before Spilborghs, who is over in right center field. So a double leading off for Cantu against Grilli.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, it's just one of those nights at the yard. Yeah, there's been a lot of home runs, balls hit very far, but there's also been a lot of line drives hit. 31 hits in the ball game. It hasn't just been the long ball that's played a role. It played the role of getting the Rockies back in it. There's been a lot of base hits.
And this is a broken bat blooper, and this thing's going to drop probably. Yep, it will. Barnes got to pick up the baseball. Cantu is going to go to third and hold there. He had to wait to make sure it dropped. Willingham has a bloop double, second and third. It's that unusual circumstance where you have back-to-back doubles, and the lead runner can advance only 90 feet.
Well, obviously nobody there, you know, with less than 2 outs, there's nowhere for you to go, and you just freeze up. I mean, Hop made a move back, but again, you're not anticipating a ball dumped into right field. You're playing more in a pulls type situation. What I did like there was Hop made the dive, but Barmes was right there, and when the ball got by him, he didn't have to regroup, get to his feet, and try to get the ball back in.
The Rockies are going to pass on Jacobs, set up a force all around. Cody Ross will come up next. Ross has already hit 1 time tonight with the bases loaded and produced a double, scoring 3 runs.
Ross on the season, 2 double plays that he's hit into. And you got a sinker baller on the mound, meaning Jason Grilli. That's what he's going to try to induce. You'd love to get the punch out, but more than likely, you're going to try to get the double play ball, minimize the damage.
If you can ever wiggle out of the bases loaded, nobody out situation, it is very difficult. You almost have to, in most circumstances, find a way to get a pop out or a punch out of the first guy and then a double play behind it. Ross a little bit late with the swing. It's 0-1. Manny Corpus and a line drive base hit. That's going to score at least 1. And Willingham is going to score a 2-run single. 5 RBI night for Cody Ross. And now it's 15-12. What is this, George? First one to 20 wins?
Yeah, I guess. Man, oh man. Two guys are going to have to ice their arms. Been the pitching staff and Mike Gallego and Bo Porter at third base. Their third base coach. They've had a lot of waving going on tonight. Well, out over the head again, a shortstop dumped into that area out in left center field where you've got to make the replay to, prepare to try to get to the baseball. And they're going to do that. Clint's going to make a double switch here. Quintanilla will come into the ball game. Either going to go in and take Tulowitzki's place or he'll take Clint Barmas's place.
15-12 Marlins. Nobody out in the 7th. The Marlins, a season high 15 runs, 19 hits. Rockies gave up 22 hits earlier this week to San Diego. Matt Trainer trying to move the 2 runners on base up. Manny Corpus pitched in last night's ball game and pitched well. I asked Clint Hurdle some of the guys that he felt had really stepped forward in the last few weeks. The first guy that he mentioned was Corpus. He feels like he's really getting himself back in line. Here's the bunt. Corpus will have one play. That's the first.
Well, the next step is, yes, he is getting himself back in line and doing the job he needs to do. The next step's going to be in a ball game where the Rockies aren't down 3, where it's a tie ball game, or maybe even 1 run up and go out and pitch a 1, 2, 3, 7th and then an 8th. He is getting himself back in line, but to put him in more pressure situations and to handle those.
Rockies will bring the infield in with a Messica at the plate. Alfredo a single and an RBI double in 4 plate appearances tonight. Rockies have used 5 pitchers: Reynolds, Bowers, Vizcaino, Grilli, and Corpus. And everybody's been touched up. Ground ball right at Barmas. They got him hung up. Jacobs is hung up. And now Ionetta applied the tag.
Good move by Barmas. I mean, he came in on that ball in a hurry and recognized not so much to snap the throw to the plate, which would have been his first reaction for a lot of guys. They would have done that, but he was very heads up because he checked the runner, recognized he was not that far down the line. Let's throw to third and get him in the rundown. Because if you do throw it to home plate right here, more than likely he's going to get back to third. The guy's safe at first, and you got the bases loaded situation. Now you got second and third, you got 2 outs, and you'll be able to make a move on it. Very good play by Clint Barmas.
Luis Gonzalez, the veteran Luis Gonzalez, is going to pinch hit. Last night he pinch hit and rolled one to first. Gonzo has done a good job in a Marlins uniform, part-time duty, 5 home runs, knocked in 29 runs.
He does have a pinch hit home run. He's 4 for 19 as a pinch hitter for the Florida Marlins.
Here's a strike on the inside corner. Gonzalez with almost 600 doubles in his career, more than 1,400 RBIs. He's had a marvelous run.
1 for 4 in his career versus Manny Corpus.
1-1. He's got 350 plus home runs also. Active leader in doubles. He's 16th all time on that list. This is a big one here, George. It's starting to get late. 7th inning. The Rockies had crawled within a run. Florida counters with a couple of runs here. It's a 3-run ball game. The way you've swung the bat, they've scored in every inning. Talking about the Rockies, you figure 3 runs isn't a big thing. 5
That scares me too. You got Hanley Ramirez in the on-deck circle. Not to take anything away from Luis Gonzalez, but Ramirez, one of the best young hitters in the game today. 3 hits in the game already, a home run, a double, and a single.
You hear the crackle of fireworks in the distance. Another big fireworks display after this game here at Coors Field. 2-2 pitch to Gonzo, and it's fought off up the middle. A base hit's going to score 2. And now it's 17-12. 20 hits tonight for the Fish.
5 for 19 as a pinch hitter, 4 RBIs. Gonzalez so many times has come through for their ball club, for a number of ball clubs. Comes through here to expand it to a 5-run lead again after things got tightened up. I'll tell you what, going to be a sinker down and away from him. Gonzalez just kind of an inside-out swing, trying to keep everything back up the middle, not trying to pull the baseball. And by dropping that backhand, it allows the bat on that good angle to take it back up the middle. And the 2 runs come around to score.
You know what, George? Give Mike Jacobs some credit. This is bounced to third. They're going to get Ramirez. The reason I said that is he stayed in that rundown long enough to get the guy who hit it, Amesica, to second base in scoring position. Gonzo comes through. 5-run lead again for the Marlins. 17 runs for the Florida Marlins. The Rockies have a dozen. Omar Quintanilla will lead it off against Justin Miller here in the bottom of the 7th. Rockies have scored in every inning. Game summary: the Rockies have tied a season high, first time since '94 with 5 home runs. '29 combined runs. Colorado trying to continue that streak of scoring in every inning. 1-2, 1-1, 4-3. Quintanilla down the line. That'll work. He'll round first and head to second. And he'll stop there as Ramirez returns it. A lead double for Omar Quintanilla. Off the bench and into the scorebook. Mark Stout, what's happening?
XL Energy fun fact time today. It's all about the red, white, and Vida Blue. And George, you can help me out with this if you want. 1971, Vida Blue with the A's won the Cy Young and the MVP in the American League. He was 24-8. The Marlins were in Oakland recently for Vida Blue Day on June 22nd. They gave away his jerseys. He threw out the first pitch. He turns 59 this month. Well, a couple of interesting fun facts about Vida Blue are this. On the back of his jersey, it said just Vida, his first name, not his surname. Well, the only player that has done that since is Ichiro, and you have to get special permission from the big leagues to do that. Also, and you'll remember this, George, Charlie Finley offered him 10 grand to change his middle name to True. He turned it down, but he would have been Vida True Blue, but the red, white, and Vida Blue.
Yeah, how about that, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that went on with Finley. It was grow the mustache, the big handlebars. I mean, there's tons of things that he did to pay his players to kind of be, I don't want to say renegades, but the start of something new constantly in baseball. The white shoes.
2-0 on Spilborghs, who is just on fire. 5 straight hits for Spilly. Tonight, a double in the first and a run scored. An RBI single in the second. A home run up onto the concourse in left in the 4th. And a home run to deep left center in the 6th. 3-0. And Justin Miller hucks that one to the backstop. It's first and third. Freddie Gonzalez must be saying, oh man, here we go again. 17 might not be enough.
Hey, thinking, I mean, and he's going out. He wants to go out and check him with the trainer. He's not sure he's all right because he threw that ball about 5 feet wide of the home plate area. Watch. I mean, when he threw this ball, the arm's not up and not anywhere close to the plate. Just kind of put his head down. Freddie Gonzalez is going out and he's going to have a talk with him along with the trainer to make sure he's 100%. If he's not 100%, they'll jerk him out of the ball game in a hurry. Freddie, a lot like Atlanta, they're going to look at him right in the eyes and say, answer me. You all right or not? Justin Miller, a guy say Freddie looking at him. He's going to go to the bullpen. He's not going to run a risk. Miller's been very good for them. Kensing's warming up down their bullpen. And let me tell you something, folks. In a game like this, first of all, you know coming in the bats are flying, right? Number one, I hated coming in because you got to warm up on the field. You can't warm up in the bullpen. You have to warm up in the middle of the diamond while everybody sits around, and it's just kind of an eerie feeling until you get ready to pitch in that ball game. Kensing pitched last night, a couple of hits, some runs. I mean, he didn't make it easy on himself last night either.
No, he pitched in, gave up a run on 2 hits last night. So here he comes. It's 17-12. Spielborg's at first. Quintanilla is at third. The new pitcher is Kensing, as he had as many warm-ups as he needed after the injury to Justin Miller.
Well, 32 games for him to appear in, 40 2/3 innings for him. He's brought into this game. They are hoping to get a few punch-outs.
(0-1) on Barmes. The Rockies have tied a club record tonight. They have 11 extra base hits. I think they're going to break it. I don't think that's going out on a limb. Not if you've been watching what we've been watching tonight. 35 combined hits, 29 combined runs. The Marlins have 8 extra base hits, including a couple of long balls. Outside, it's 2-1 on Barmes. Barmes has 3 hits tonight. Yeah, I mean, you almost forget about that, like, big deal. Barmes got 3 hits and 2 RBIs. Some of the data on this ball game. Didn't we have an hour 58 ball game earlier in the week, George?
Yeah, 158. I think Cookie was in there, yeah.
Pick to first. Spielborg dives back. I don't know if I've ever seen the Rockies down by 5 runs in the bottom of the 7th and felt pretty comfortable about it. Three and 1. A night where the ERA goes up like a helium balloon. Fastball count here for Clint Barmes. He had a quality hack on a 94-mile-an-hour Logan Kensing fastball. Now here's something, George. The Rockies have scored in every inning since 1893 in the National League. The team has scored in all 9 innings 7 times. This is popped down the right field line, and nobody's going to get to this. Out of play. The last team to score in all 9 innings, the Rockies against the Cubs, May 5th, 1999. It's only happened 3 times actually.
What was the score in that game?
1900. They don't give the score.
They don't? Okay.
The Cardinals did it to the Cubs in '64. And New York against Philadelphia in 1923. Amazing stuff. 3-2 on Barmes. Ball 4. They're loaded up for Big Daddy. Here comes Matt Holliday. Bases loaded, nobody out. Well, this season, for every RBI that Matt Holliday collects, Quest will donate $100 to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Colorado. So far, the total $4,100. Hold on, there could be more coming. When he drives them in, everybody wins. Just one way, Quest builds a stronger community. A strike.
slider first pitch. And they had, you know, Holiday. It wasn't a very good slider either. Very flat, left up into the strike zone. More of a strike one slider before you see my really good slider. I tell you, folks, it's hard when you come in for an injured pitcher and warm up out there because it's just, you know, it's kind of a relaxed, quiet mode to turn up the volume of the body and the motion and to go right at it. It's not easy. The crazy thing about it, they've given up 12 runs. And if this game ended, which it's not going to, but if it ended 17-12 or what, Olson would still get the win in this game.
Isn't that something?
You take him any way you can get him when when you're starting out that career. He's looking for win number 28 in it.
High and tight, 2-1. Holiday has a home run earlier this evening, just a line shot to right center, and he's so strong and just kept on going, landing in the Rockies bullpen. Never got more than about 15 feet off the ground. That worked well here. 2-2.
Yeah, one of the places that Matt has a difficult time of laying off of the baseball is up and above the hand area, and it has a little bit of a rise to the baseball. That's what makes it hard. Matt, with his 9 career multi-home run games, where Matt just really capitalizes on pitchers as they think, all right, I'm going to go to a slider and I'm going to really trick him, and he just tears the head off the baseball.
He got a good pitch there, and he fouled it straight back. Here's something strange about last night, George. You mentioned the fact that Olson's still the pitcher record on the plus side, despite having given up 9 runs in 5 innings and all the runs up on the board. Last night, 12 pitchers used in the ball game, and at one point, 11 of the 12 were the pitcher of record. 3-2. Now all the heat is on Kensing. You got one of the premier sluggers at the plate. Nobody can get any outs. The bases are loaded. And there's close to 50,000 people staring at you. Here we go. Slider, reach for high and deep left center. Forget about it. Touch them all. Big Daddy has hit a granny. And the Rockies are back within 1. What'd you say about that slider?
Exactly, I told you. They think they can trick the guy with a slider. And with his strength, he's just unbelievable when he reaches and gets that extension the way he's done it.
Are you kidding me with this ball game?
Well, things just got a whole lot serious. There's that slider away, and Holiday knew it. Look at the fingers go up. He knew it was gone. He got into that little jog coming out of the box. That's some of the most emotion you'll see out of Matt Holiday at any point. And then he just left it. Soft jog around and a lot of high-five slapping going on from Matt Holiday. 45 RBIs on 2 home runs. His 10th multi-home run ball game.
6 jacks tonight for the Rockies.
3rd grand slam of his career. Holy cow. Hang on to your seat, folks.
He is so strong, George. He almost one-handed that thing about 440. You've heard us talk about this on many occasions. We like to watch batting practice, time to visit with players, coaches. I was standing with Alan Cockrell, the Rockies hitting coach tonight. Matt's hitting him up on the concourse, hitting him in the second deck and right center. And I said, you know what, it's truly amazing, and we watch it every day. And he said, you know what, it is. He said, they say McGuire had this kind of power. And he said, obviously he did, but to watch him every day is just something else.
Well, that McGuire did have that kind of power. There was no question about that. But to go out and do what this young guy's been doing, man, it is fun.
That's a strike. 2-1 on Atkins. Rockies still deficient by a run on the scoreboard. This ball fouled off. The Rockies were down 9 runs at one point. They came back and got it within a run, and then they fell behind by 5 again. And now the grand slam has made it a 1-run ball game yet again. This ball roped to center field. A base hit for Atkins. And here comes Jeff Baker. Nobody out in the 7th inning.
Well, now you got to start thinking about down in your bullpen area too, because now you're only 3 hitters away from your pitcher slot in this ball game. The only guys left in the Rockies bullpen at this point, Hergis, who threw 2 innings last night. I wouldn't think you could go to him. Buchholz, then Fuentes. Buchholz will be the guy to get loose and have to do it fairly quick. There's no outs.
Strike on Baker. Baker tonight, 1 for 3 and a walk, a double. He has an RBI. And that's also a strike. It's 0-2. The 33 runs tonight. The 2nd highest combined score in Rockies history. It ties a ball game they played in '95 against the Cubs. The most, 36 against the Reds in '99. And Baker is the first out of the inning. Chris Iannetta, 3-run home run. He also has a walk tonight. Look at this ball he hit out earlier in the 5th inning. Watch where this one traveled to. You don't expect when you're walking on the concourse to have to hear 4.
One of the farthest balls I saw hit here was Sammy Sosa when he was chasing Mark McGwire. He hit home run 55 off of the scoreboard that landed, and I happened to be out of the booth that day doing the broadcast, and it hit out onto that concourse area. That, folks, when you go out there and walk, you're at the ballpark, go out there and walk up those stairs and stand back there on that concourse and look back to home plate. It's a long way.
One and 2. One and 2 on Iannetta. Atkins at first. Strike 3. Locked him up. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Brad Hopp. And Freddie Gonzalez is not going to allow the right-hander to face Hopp. He's going to go and get Pinto.
Yeah, sure is. He knows this game right now with a runner on first, and it could one swing of the bat from Brad Hopp, it could be over with. So he will go get Pinto. Kinsey comes in. He gives up the grand slam to Matt Holliday, but gets 2 strikeouts. 17-16?
Keep looking at that scoreboard and keep chuckling. 17-16 came to a major league game. An NBA game broke out. 4th of July, and yeah, you can make all the analogies you want to fireworks. We've seen them. The new pitcher is Roniel Pinto. And against lefties, he's held into a .258 average. Actually, righties at just .206. He'll step up on toe the rubber against Brad Hopp with 2 outs and Atkins at first.
Yeah, yesterday he had a little tendency to get wild in that ball game, but he came right out. Hopp that time, 87-mile-an-hour fastball, high leg kick, short deceptive arm. It makes it a little harder to pick the ball up off of Pinto, so his advantage against right-handers when it cuts in, and the left-handers with the slider.
And Brad in a little bit of a funk. He is 0 for his last 13. That would be a wonderful time to break that. A strike.
Where's that slider? Yeah, I mean, it's hard, man. I mean, because it's a short arm action, and it's kind of like throwing darts, and then he just spins it right at you, and it's difficult to pick it up coming out of the hand.
Strike 3.
I'm not sure that was a strike. A little bit off of the plate. Hops, disgust, drops the bat on that outside corner.
In the inning, the Rockies get within a run on a 3-2 grand slam off the bat of Matt Holliday. 17-16.
What he's hit out of here, Manny Corpus got to stay in the ball game. When Hop struck out, so that kind of helps your bullpen a little bit here in the 8th inning.
Jeremy Hermito lead it off, then Jorge Cantu and Josh Willingham 2 through 4. And that's fouled off 1 and 2. One and 2 on Hermita. Can't tell you how important it is to throw up a 0 right now if you're Manny Corpus.
Well, before you start thinking about 0, think about first out. You know, and then carry it to that second out. And that's what happens in a game like this. You start thinking, all right, I got to throw 0 up. I got to do this. Got to save the bullpen. Save 1 out, and then go get your second out. Just attack the strike zone. Hermita stands way off of the plate. That hard sinker away ought to do some good here. I mean, he kind of throws the bat at that outside corner. If you put a good place on it, ought to be okay.
Tonight, the 3rd sellout of the year, even more than last night. 48,691 at the Yard. Perfect night for baseball, and they have been fully entertained. Something tells me there's some more to come. That just missed, and now it's 3 and 2.
I want to see this pitch one more time, man. He thought he might have had it. It had to run back. Remember the strikeout of Hop a little off of the plate. This is off of the plate on the inside corner. Now it was where Iannetta wanted it, but looking for more of a swing and miss strikeout versus a called strikeout.
Yeah, how about a swing and miss strikeout? We have an update. It was a couple of days ago that Michael Barrett, just a scary situation on a fastball from Ubaldo Jimenez, fouled the ball off, it looked like his nose, and Michael got up after a few minutes, a lot of blood on his own power, and walked off the field. Well, we were just informed by Jay Alvis, Vice President of Communication with the Rockies, that he suffered multiple facial fractures. He is going to have surgery in a week to 2 once the swelling goes down. Here's the pitch again. And he is going to be out a minimum of 6 weeks for the Padres. The good news out of all that is that he should make a complete recovery. This ball is lined foul. He should make a complete and full recovery. And we wish Michael Barrett all the best. That was a scary situation.
One of the good guys in the game. He spent the night here in the hospital and went back for those examinations that Drew just talked about. Very scary, scary time at the ball yard.
Cantu fouls this one off. It's 0-2. Fastball at 93. Well, things about Manny of late, you see the velocity back where we're accustomed to seeing it. Had that terrific second half last year. Looks more confident.
Well, he does. I mean, that's one thing he has done is his confidence in the slider, and the results have been some outs. And now you're in that one-run ball game we talked about earlier versus maybe in a blowout.
And this is fisted. Quintanilla, oh man, he jumped, and I don't know if he lost it in the lights, George, because it went underneath where he leaped.
I think maybe he thought the ball was going to be a little higher and farther than what it was, because what you do in that situation a lot of times, when the ball's hit like this in a soft lawn drive, you duck the head and take off running to a spot. As he went back on it, and watch as he jumps, it just went up underneath the glove versus into the glove, and he looked at it like, is there a hole in this thing? Thought he had it the whole way.
So Josh Willingham will come up. Willingham is 2 for 4 in a walk, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs tonight. Cantu has a 4-hit night now. At first base.
There's a few guys with some hits tonight.
Oh, it's ridiculous. You know, Mike Jacobs has 3 hits and a couple of walks. Cody Ross has another 3-hit night. He had 3 hits last night. Ross has 5 RBIs. Cody Ross has come up twice tonight with the bases loaded. One time he doubled, scoring everybody. Another time he singled, scoring a pair. Remember we were laughing earlier when they had the scoreboard backwards. They had Minnesota beating Cleveland 21-3. We thought that was hilarious, right? It was actually 12-3 final. Little did we know then, huh?
Exactly.
Good pitch. See you later. 2 outs as Willingham is the second victim of Manny Corpus.
Yeah, looking on the Hyundai cam, you see that whip through of the hand. That creates a lot of that late action on the baseball, and he just threw it right by him.
Mike Jacobs at the plate. Double walk, single, single, walk. Been on all 5 times. The last walk was intentional. Slider on the back door. Left on the welcome mat. 1-0. And this is a base hit to center field.
Thought about it, didn't he?
Yeah, Cantu did think about it. First and second. Jacobs has been on all 6 plate appearances. That's some kind of night. And here's the RBI machine tonight. Ross came in with 33 ribbies. He's got 38.
I'll give you a chance to talk about some home runs in this ball game that's gone on. You see Iannetta out to visit a little bit and make sure they got the right side going. The most home runs by the Rockies, and I don't know if you mentioned this or not, Drew, 7 in 97 against Montreal. 6 tonight ties a record against Seattle, Montreal, and LA, all happening in 99. And Drew was mentioning the Bombers at that time. Well, that's when it happened. All those guys were here.
Dodgers tonight beat San Francisco 10-7. Philadelphia over the Mets 3-2. Cincinnati beat Washington 3-0. Milwaukee beat up the Pirates 9-1. Atlanta snapped their 5-game losing streak. They beat Houston 6-2. Cubs beat St. Louis 2-1. San Diego in the 7th leading in Phoenix 2-0 over the Diamondbacks. That's the National League scoreboard. Corpus against Ross, 2 on. That hit him. Ross is saying it was a foul ball. He wants to hit. And now he's going to relinquish the bat. You know, George, I understand one's enthusiasm and wanting to hit. But when you get hit, move on to first base and let the guy behind you take his turn.
You know, I heard you say that. I was just kind of, what's going on here? It looked like just man, that did just barely grazed his knuckle.
How does Matt Trainer feel? He's the guy up now. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Trainer had a 3-run home run in the first. That's a strike.
Let's look at it from the side again as he started to go after the baseball, just trying to hold the hands back all the way. So I don't know if he wanted to hit or if he was letting him know that he got hit.
You know, maybe
it looked like he was like, hey, I just got hit with the baseball. I wasn't trying to swing the bat at it.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's what he was doing. It looked odd from up here. At first, it looked like he was trying to say he didn't get hit. It was a foul ball, which.
So, well, on the Sunday cam, you won't see his reaction back at the umpire, but it just barely grazed the knuckles up against that bat.
You know, Cody, I apologize if you were trying to indicate that you got hit. 0-2 on Matt Trainer. Corpus thought he had him struck out. Chad Fairchild is behind home plate.
You know, there it is from that look. Now look on the overhead. Is it off the plate or did it get a corner? It's off the plate, but it's pretty close. Asks for the slider, wants it down in the dirt. So that's a pretty good job by Trainer to go down and get and foul that ball off. We're talking about a pitch that's coming in here and dipping straight down. Watch that back leg drop, and then you see this drop to go down and make contact with it. Pretty good job of hitting right there.
Here's the 1-2. Popped him up. And Ionetta handles it. Corpus gets Trainer with the bases loaded. He keeps it a 1-run ball game. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Pinto remains in the ball game. The Rockies have hit the pitcher spot after the double switch. It's the 8-hole, originally occupied by Troy Tulowitzki. So Willie Taveras is going to pinch hit. He shortens up as if to bunt.
He ran in the outfield before today's ball game with Keith Duggar. So, I mean, it tells me he's ready to go. If he's able to think about laying a bunt down and take off running up the baseline, if there was any kind of tightness there. Not sure why he would attempt that or tell Clint he was ready to go, because if he tops one, he's going to have to fly. So, I mean, either you are or you aren't.
That's right. He's not 100%. I chatted with him earlier, but you know what? You're sitting there on the bench. Your club's battled to within a run, 17-16. You want to help any way you can. And Pinto misses again. It's 3-0.
Willie, how about this number? And I had this earlier. Oh, Dougie, what'd you do with it? 20 stolen bases against left-handers this year. Willie leads the National League with stolen bases against left-handers. 14 of his stolen bases have come against lefties. That's pretty good reads.
He's really made significant strides on the base paths this year and how aggressive he is, running earlier in counts, stealing third. He never used to do that. And that's fouled off. His routes defensively in the outfield are much cleaner. He's done a good job. This to right field. Here comes Hermida, and he's going to make the catch. That'll bring up Omar Quintanilla. The Rockies on their bench have Bitsednik, Kashansky, who was just called up with the injury to Todd Helton, his back issue, placing him on the disabled list if you missed it before the ball game, and Yorvi Torrealba.
Well, the ball game's setting up for the Rockies' big bops to come up with men on base. I mean, you know, you're looking at the bottom of this inning, or at the obviously bottom of the ninth. You're going to have to face Holiday. You're going to have to face Atkins. You're going to face Spilborghs, guys that have been very hot in this game. Clint Barnes.
1-0 on Quintanilla. This is his second at bat. He doubled down the right field line in his first at bat. Outside, 2-0.
Well, the right-hander walked her down there warming up down in their bullpen. He's there for Spilborghs, I would think.
Yeah, you'd assume this is the last hitter for Pinto.
Rockies take a lead. You'll have Fuentes. If it's tied, you'll still down one. Excuse me. That's when you'll have Buckles come out to pitch the ninth. Tied or ahead, it'll be Fuentes.
2-2 on Quintanilla. Omar threw out a very good at bat in the 11th inning last night with the bases loaded. He fouled off about a half-dozen pitches before finally grounding out the second. Didn't get the result he was looking for, but it was a good AB. Three and two on Quintanilla. Omar hanging tough again. Spilborghs, who's had an enormous night, waiting patiently on deck, or maybe impatiently. Ground ball up the middle, redirected to Ramirez, and he's going to get it.
You know, that thing got redirected. I really want to watch what Ramirez did. A lot of guys would have tried to barehand or do something pretty special to get Quintanilla, left-handed runner, so you got good speed. Ball's hit right off of the glove of Pinto. Now watch when it redirects. Watch how well he stays balanced. See that exchange in his footwork? I tell you what, that was very fundamentally sound by Ramirez. A lot of guys would have tried to speed this up. They rely and trust his arm as he did and made the perfect pitch.
Now here comes Freddie Gonzalez. He's going to make the change. He's going to bring in Wachter to deal with Spilborghs. 17-16, Florida. Back in a moment. 17-16, the Marlins leading by a run. Happy 4th of July. This one may not finish till the 5th of July. We'll see. Double switch. Wes Helms comes in. He's at third base. Cantu goes across the diamond to first. Mike Jacobs comes out. And with 2 outs and nobody on, Doug Wechter comes in.
Well, here's the guy. I mean, 25 games, 280 earned run average, 0-2 overall, 45 innings pitched. So he's getting a little over, more like an inning and a third, inning and 2/3 working out of their bullpen. Right now, he's just trying to get 1 out.
Spilborghs a couple of home runs tonight. And he takes ball 1. Double, single, home run, and a walk. Up and playable to Trainer. So the Rockies, for the first time tonight, do not score in an inning. We'll go to the 9th. a one-run ball game. 17 runs, 22 hits, and one botched ball by the Florida Marlins. The Rockies, 16 runs, 17 hits, no errors, top of the 9th inning. From the ballpark, we go a few blocks away to our Chevy Sports Desk and Alana Rizzo. Alana?
Thanks, Drew. We're all back there kind of shaking our heads as well. Soon, Coors Field will be celebrating the 4th of July in the sky after already taking in quite a show on the field. Then after the game, we'll revisit Game 2 between the Rockies and the Marlins. Then on FSN Live, we talk Todd Helton a little bit and what it means for the team now that he's on the DL. A great lineup on What Do You Think? And Oren and Ryan play some beach volleyball in Raw Sports. Happy Independence Day, guys.
To you as well, Alana. Alfredo Amesiga is going to lead it off for Florida. Taylor Buchholz will handle the 9th inning. Again, it's 17-16. At one point tonight, the Rockies were down 13-4. They got to within 13-12, and then it became 17-12 Florida. Matt Holliday hit a grand slam to make it 17-16, and that's where we stand. Rockies a season high in runs. The Marlins a season high in runs. The Rockies within one of tying their all-time record for homers in a game. The only time more runs have been scored between two teams with the Rockies involved, a number of years ago, 36. Kevin Gregg, the Marlins closer, who blew a save and took the loss in the 11th inning last night. It was his blown save. He's getting ready in the Marlins pen. Buchholz against Amesiga. Hard curveball, strike one. One of the few hiccups on the season yesterday for Taylor Buchholz as he gave up a 2-run home run to Jorge Cantu. Line drive center field, and Spilborghs tracks it one out. That'll bring up Wes Helms for his first at bat. Just came in a few moments ago in a double switch. The native of Gastonia, North Carolina, a suburb of Charlotte. His uncle Tommy Helms, good player back in the 70s.
A really right-hand man for Pete Rose as he managed the Cincinnati Reds. This is one of those you take off running, they're up so high. You know it's short, but then sometimes you can overrun it or you can underrun the ball, and you got to make that last because it's coming down with such velocity. You got to make that move to get it. Spilborgh's nice job on a read on that baseball.
And now for the 7th time in the ball game, in a 9-inning affair, here comes Hanley Ramirez. About a month ago, it seems like, on the first pitch he saw, he hit one about 430 feet to dead center field, maybe longer than that, off Greg Reynolds. First pitch, home run. 2 outs, nobody on. And that fastball rides high, ball one. Ramirez, a home run, a single, grounded into a double play, an RBI double in the 4th, fly ball right field, ground ball third base. At the knees. Boy, that was wicked.
It was wicked. No question about it. Okay, well, look at that bite, that tight rotation, the pull by Buchholz. The bottom just falls right out from under. Good pitch.
1-2 on Ramirez. Ramirez, the only shortstop in the big leagues with 20+ home runs. He hit his 21st tonight. Tell you something else about the young superstar. He has scored 319 runs since the start of the 2006 season. That is more than anybody else in the game. And ultimately, that's what this sport's about, scoring runs. 3-2. Buchholz takes his time. 2 outs, nobody on. We're in the 9th. The Marlins lead it by a run. Here's the 3-2. Just missed.
That's been close. Good pitch, good idea. Outside corner fastball. Very good idea by Buchholz. Yeah, a lot of times they start to think that it's going to be that hard curveball, and then it just works down and away. Sometimes you get them to offer it this. Pitch was down low. I think it caught enough of the plate. It was just low, not to where he could handle it. So look at the knee area. A little bit below that, you don't get that called in this day and age of baseball.
Tell you something we don't talk much about. You talk about the low batting average against Buchholz, the strikeouts. George, he hasn't walked many. That's just his 10th walk in more than 41 innings. This is chopped to first. A fair ball, step on the bag, and we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies trail by a run. Barmes, Holiday, and Atkins.
I need your help. I need to be a career .320 hitter.
I need the secret to winning 3 Gold Gloves.
I need to top 300 home runs.
Consider it done.
Huh?
Consider it done.
So it comes down to this on the 4th of July at Coors Field. The Marlins have eked out 17 runs tonight on 22 hits. The Rockies have somehow put together 16 runs on 17 hits. Clint Barmes, Matt Holliday, Garrett Atkins against Kevin Gregg, the closer for the Marlins, who they got to in the 11th inning last night.
Well, last night it happened. You're right. It got after him. Blew the save. 6-3 on the season. 248, 40 innings pitched. 39 ball games, 15 of 20 in save opportunities, 75% of the time. His fastball will run 90 to 94 miles an hour. He likes to work away. And a very hard slider with downward plane on it also. Well, here it's what the last 3 outs of this ball game, as it is with a lot of ball games for closers. It's very difficult. He'll have Barmes, Holiday coming up.
And one of the interesting things is, as Barmes takes ball 1, last night he faced 5 hitters before losing the game on the Spilborghs single. The hitters he didn't face: Barmes, Holiday, Atkins, Baker. 1-1. The next 4 hitters: Barmes, Holiday, Atkins, Baker.
27 walks, 10 in his last 8 1/3, 5 wild pitches, 6 last season total. This is the last reliever they have down in their bullpen. There's nobody left. The Rockies tie this ball game up. And it's an if, but the way things have gone, you tie it up, boy, I tell you what, it puts Gonzalez in a bind. He might have to look at a starter a couple of days down the road to put out there, or throw tomorrow's starter in tonight's ball game, and then worry about tomorrow when it gets here.
1-2 on Barmes. Ground ball through the middle, base hit. Boy, a great job of hitting behind in the count by Clint Barmes. Speed aboard for the Rockies, the tying run aboard.
4 hits for Clint Barmes in this ball game tonight. How about that number for Clint Barmes? Move back to the 2-hole, 7 hits in 2 nights for Clint Barmes. Make that 6 hits, I'm sorry. In 2 nights, hitting in the 2-hole, the ball down and away from him, sunk back to the middle. Barmes just stayed right. Look at that head, that concentration. Wow.
Matt Holliday at the plate. 2 home runs, including a grand slam tonight. Inside, ball 1.
Everything that he hit out of the ballpark, a slider that he hit out away from him. The one to right field was a fastball away from him. Gregg trying to not allow him to extend those arms.
Everybody in the ballpark thinking the same thing. 2-0. Here's his last at bat on a 3-2 pitch. George described it as slider. He reached out, and he knew he got it. It was 17-12 before that swing. Does he come with the heater? 2-0. He does, and Matt bloops at the shallow right. It'll drop. Barnes to second. Again, the outfielders basically should be buying a ticket. That's how deep they are. They got to be. They're playing no doubles. Now 2 odd, nobody out, and here's Garrett Atkins coming up.
Another hot hitter in the Rockies lineup. He's done it tonight also. This ball, as you can see, I mean, he is so deep. The media had no shot at that, particularly with all the power you got in Matt Holliday. Yeah, you ought to smile tonight, Matt. A big night at the plate for Matt Holliday, trying to make it a bigger night with a W.
Atkins has had a large night. Kind of falls beneath the radar. He's 4 for 5. Tying run at second, winning run at first. Outside, ball 1. You know, Helms playing even with the bag, which opens up the hole that much more. Now he's going to drop back a little bit. That's inside. 2-0 on Atkins.
Well, you got the leading RBI guy at the plate. That's not the one guy I would think Clint would want to take the bat out of his hand and let him swing at. 49 RBIs. He's hit his 12th home run tonight. I think Helms reads the same thing.
Line drive, left field, base hit. Barnes is going to come home. He's going to score. We're all even at 17. Garrett Atkins delivers. What a ball game.
Well, think about it. Ground ball single, blue pitch to right, and then a rocket to left. This ball club starting to play and believe as they did a year ago when they went to the playoffs. It's fun to watch this team not give up in any situation, to try to do what they've done here. Baker's going to get an opportunity, a big opportunity to win this ball game. Farmers, the dugout, excited as this game is tied.
Holliday, good speed at second. Atkins will stay close to the bag at first. Baker takes ball 1. Baker tonight has a double, a run scored, also an RBI. Nobody out.
Pretty good hack right there on a fastball. That was something Baker'd like to have back.
Shattered bat. Bake's got to get up the line. There's one. It's fouled there. Safe. Everybody's safe. Hanley Ramirez dropped the feed from Alfredo Amasiga.
They're going to have a little argument out there, and you are from Freddie. I think you will, out at second base umpire Jeff Kellogg. Whether he was trying to pull it out or not and had control of the baseball. And he said he was looking for the control of the baseball, didn't see it. Not a lot of argument. I mean, that's the end of it. Freddie's going to walk off. Let's watch again. The bat flies off to the left side on a splinter. Bake trying to get up the line. Caught the ball there, and as he brought it to his hands, it looked to have an exchange. I think he should have been out. Good. The Rockies may have caught a break here.
They caught a huge break. That should have been a double play. And they caught a big break in that everybody's safe. Nobody out. The infield's got to come in. The outfield's got to come in. Chris Iannetta at the plate.
You got 2 shots to win this thing, obviously with a fly ball, but 2 really good shots to win it. With Iannetta, then Hop.
Chris takes a strike. Ground ball, base hit, the Rockies will win it. The Rockies will win it. In the greatest comeback in club history, 18-17. Are you kidding me? Now bring on the fireworks. Fourth straight win, second straight walk-off win. The Rockies were down 13-4, and they win it 18-17. They'll be talking about this one for a long, long time. Chris Iannetta delivering Matt Holliday.
No, and it's the excitement starts right there. Holliday all the way up and down this lineup. Such a huge part of this win. And it started at the very top of it with Spielborgs and worked its way all the way through this lineup. Yeah, Spielborg said it. A win like last night can spark the never give up type attitude. Obviously, it's there.
Our Land Rover legendary performance of the game. A lot of guys to choose from. This one's always a good candidate. Matt Holliday, a solo home run earlier. And then with the club down by 5 on a 3-2 delivery, he got it. A grand slam, his third in his great career already. He had a single in the 9th. He scores the game-winning run. Matt Holliday, our Land Rover legendary performance of the game. George, we both have seen a lot of baseball games.
I haven't seen games like this. I mean, I've watched a lot of them in this ballpark, folks. Back in the '99 years when you saw those 6 home runs in a ball game by their club to come back and win some ball games, but this is crazy.
No one will ever forget who was here the 4th of July at Coors Field, 2008. Rockies win it 18-17. The Chevy postgame report is next.